they build this ball club to where they need it to be in the coming years. Those later innings have always been a problem with teams in the ABL. Pitching is tough when it gets to the later ends of the game. If you look at the ABL in the past few years, the reason the Bandits are 3-time champions is because their bullpen has been so good. So for Steve Mintz, the head coach of the Tuatara, for him to figure out who's going to work for him in that bottom end of the game in the later innings, it's going to take some time, and that heartbreak is going to teach him how to be resilient as well.
Let's look at the Auckland Tuatara, not just the lineup, but the full squad as well, Ricky. A pleasing number of New Zealanders for an inaugural season, isn't there?
There is indeed, and it's something we've been working on for 5 to 7 years. Is building a program here where baseball isn't just a minority sport, where we're not just getting kids that don't want to play anything else. We're actually getting the athletes that are picking up a baseball, finding out that they can actually play at a decent level. And we've got some extremely talented players out there.
That was Tama, the Tuatara. Just you saw walking across the bottom of your screen there. The new mascot for the Auckland Tuatara, I'm sure we'll be seeing in and around the great city of Auckland over the next few weeks. 3 weeks in a row, the Tuatara will have homestands, which will be fantastic and a good chance for the Auckland baseball crowd to see their brand new professional franchise, hoping to emulate the likes of the Warriors, the Wellington Phoenix, and of course the New Zealand Breakers as Kiwi teams who can stick it to the Aussies, and that's every Kiwi's dream, isn't it? Yeah. What can we expect from today's game, Ricky? The Tuatara 0 for 4. The Brisbane Bandits are 3-1 going into this game. Obviously, on paper, the Bandits have to be favourites, not only 3-1, but 3-time reigning champs.
Yeah, and there's a lot of veteran experience in that Bandit squad. I mean, that's another reason they're so good, is they've been able to maintain their veteran players. That the guys that grew up playing baseball in Queensland and Brisbane, and started playing in Claxton Shield, and then right from the beginning of the ABL, and they're still around. They've been there for close to a decade, and that alone gives them some strength and some power over other teams that it's hard to come by. Now, I think the big change the big telling change in this game is going to be right field. Centre field's sitting about 410, 420. You're looking at about 380 in left field. Right field's quite short.
You mean the actual dimensions of the ballpark, not the players?
Yeah. Sorry, 380 feet, 410 feet. Right field's substantially shorter, and the Bandits host a lot of left-handed hitters with power.
They do, and that's. I mean, it's nice to have that with the ballpark, isn't it? Something that gives that ballpark a bit of character and a selling point. Definitely,
and it's going to be interesting to see if they can take advantage of that, or to see if the Tuatara, they're going to trump them on speed around the bases. I know the Tuatara have a lot of speed on the bases, and if they can hit those alleys and get that ball out to the fence, it's going to be a lot of runs scored by this team.
See the Tuatara being introduced to the home crowd for the first time in the ball club's history. Yeah, you mentioned the Brisbane Bandits with a bunch of left-handers. Campbell, Bennett, Shue, Lutz, Sutherland, Nielsen, all licking their lips when they arrived at the park today, weren't they?
Oh, they were indeed. I think we got a crosswind today, if I'm not mistaken. But, our pitcher's got to come out and throw strikes, hit the ball low in the zone, and get that infield working.
Auckland Tuatara sparing no expense in making this a fantastic experience for the home crowd today. There's a tailgate party going on, there's food and drink on offer, and of course the weather's turned it on. Now remember, this is just a temporary home Te Atatu, McLeod Park for the Auckland Tuatara. They had to jump at the chance to be entered into the league, as we listen to the national anthem. first time God Defend New Zealand's been played at a professional baseball game in New Zealand. It's going to be a lot of firsts today. We're going to get sick and tired of saying the word first. But one thing the fans here will be hoping for, Ricky, is the first Tuatara win.
Yeah, well, I've told the boys in the Tuatara outfit that I have a baseball tie that's quite tacky, and if they do get that W today, I'll be wearing it tomorrow in the skybox. So
we all want to see that.
Give them a little bit of extra encouragement.
Manager Stephen Mintz, or Mincy as he's known out there, and Dave Nielsen for the Brisbane Bandits. Stephen Mintz for the Auckland Tuatara, and as you can see, there's our umpiring crew. Behind the plate will be Trent Thomas. First base will be Warren van Rooyen, head of the New Zealand Baseball Umpiring Association. Matt Pearson at second base, young Josh Weschler at third base, which is a nice story in and of itself, Ricky.
It is indeed. Now, young Josh has actually gone over and worked with the MILB as an umpire, and he last year was on the short list for getting the call up to go and do the rookie ball season. He's still continuing to work his way up. He did umpire in the first game that the Tuatara played against Brisbane in their warm-up series. Yeah, no, he's a heck of an umpire, and he's still only young. I think he's 20, 21 years old. I think that first series he was trying to make sure that there was no bias in the way he called. But I tell you what, it's really good to see a young kid who used to play the game really starting to make moves into being an umpire and you know, trying to bolster up that whole official side of sport. I mean, in any sport we can be quite thin on officials, and it's good to see the young fella get out there and do it.
Can't play the game without officials. Sometimes players forget that.
Well, the officials can play the game without us sometimes, but hey, that's how we go, right?
We are at the home of West City Baseball Club in Te Atatu, Auckland, New Zealand, for the first ever game of professional baseball in Aotearoa. It is the ABL Round 2 clash between the Auckland Tuatara and the three-time defending champion Brisbane Bandits. Jimmy Boyce will be pitching for the Auckland Tuatara. Will start, and Ryan Searle will start for the Brisbane Bandits. And we can see there Andrew Campbell getting ready. TJ Bennett as well, the shortstop for Brisbane, getting ready to take the first swing at the first pitch in professional baseball history over here.
Yeah, I think it's a smart move getting Jimmy on the mound for this first game here. He sits low 90s. He has good command, good movement on his pitches, and he's still quite young. I know we had him as a 17-year-old in the Under-21 World Cup over in Taiwan, where he threw 8 shutout innings against Korea, who were one of the top teams in the competition. So he knows what it means to be in a big spot, and he knows how to pitch in tight spaces. So I think it'll be an interesting ball game with Jimmy starting on the mound for us.
There is Jimmy Boyce warming up, and the infield around him, catching Tawera Bishop at first base, Guiyang Zhu, known as Itchy, Luke Hansen at second base, Chris Richards at shortstop, and Daniel Lam Hunt is in Diamond Black's representative at third base. The outfield, Zach Clark, Eric Jenkins, and Max Brown. And a happy Thanksgiving to all the Americans tuning in. I know there's a fair few Americans playing in this game, and their families will be watching over in the States. Happy Turkey Day to you. You'll be absolutely stuffed and maybe had a few beers and just relaxing on the couch. Watched enough football for the day, and time to enjoy some baseball from New Zealand.
Yeah, so welcome into you. Americans and Thanksgiving, it'll be more than a few beers, mate. But you know, the fact that they got a chance to watch baseball on that day is a bonus.
Now, this is a very big day for Jimmy Boyce, isn't it? Experienced as youngsters go. You know, he grew up in Auckland and considered one of the brightest young prospects in New Zealand. Pitched at Mesa Community College in Arizona in the past season. Has represented the Diamond Blacks at the international level, most recently at the World Baseball Classic qualifier in Sydney a couple of years ago. But there's some big names not chosen to throw the first pitch today. Josh Colementor, for one, a 7-year Major League Baseball pitcher. What's gone into that decision? Is it a partly sentimental decision to have a Kiwi pitching the first ever pitch at home?
Yeah, I'd have to say that it'd be a big part of the decision there is to have a Kiwi start the game. You know, it's history. We're making history here, and one of the things that the Tuatara are aiming to do, as well as all the other teams, is make sure that they've got some homegrown talent and really pushing the game here at home, and not just you know, bringing other players in to play for the team.
And speaking of which, Carl Glugoski will pitch game 2 tomorrow for the Tuatara against the Bandits. Here we go, the first pitch of today's game from Jimmy Boyce to Andrew Campbell. And he gets a cool strike with the first pitch in Tuatara home history.
Yeah, he was never going to get that ball back, was he?
Pop-up looks like it's going foul from Campbell. Chase from Daniel Lamb Hunt, but that's over the fence and the count.
I actually think that landed in foul territory inside the fence. I think he's copped a bit of the sun on that one.
It is a very high sun today at Te Atu, and it is shining very brightly. No covered stands at the temporary arena, so I hope people have slipped off and slapped out there.
I don't think the sun's a problem here. It'll be the rain when it comes.
0-2 the count. Pop up and the first out in Auckland Tuatara history. Eric Jenkins, who had himself a fine series over in Perth, didn't he, Ricky? The centre fielder taking that catch. I think him talking about how he can't see the sun and needs a bit of communication when the ball's up in the air.
Yeah, that's the thing with the Auckland sun is when it gets up there nice and high, it actually is quite bright and piercing.
TJ Bennett, the shortstop, at the plate. And a good start, fine start for Jimmy Boyce. One down. Just a little bit low there. Ball called. And Ricky Bo Bishop behind the plate there. He's been around the traps, hasn't he?
He has. He's been. He's an ex-softball player and was at the ballpark one day and throwing the ball
That hit
around.
goes out into left field and taken out there by Zach Clark.
Signed with the Boston Red Sox as a young teenager and went over and played a few years. But I think to this day I still say Bo's probably one of the best defensive catchers I've ever thrown to. He used to be a lot wider than he is now. He's actually got himself in some pretty good shape, but he can get down on his knees pretty quickly. And for a pitcher that likes to throw some off-speed stuff in the dirt, he's definitely handy to have back there.
Su Chi Hung as a Tuatara. To go 3 up, 3 down. Called strike from Boyce. Geez, if he can get Hung here, if he can get Su here, then well, what a fine start that'll do for his confidence, the young man. Swing and a miss.
That's a great change up there by Jimmy Boyce. Coming out early with showing his stuff, but and getting the hitters off balance like that and making them uncomfortable is doing his job.
0-2. It's high and in. Call the ball.
Like to see this from the young pitchers when they are not afraid to change levels over throwing their off-speed stuff. Levels and edges are just as effective as changing speed.
A little low and in. Ball called by umpire Trent Thomas. And that is wide. Takes us to a full count. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
It's a great pitch right there.
Great pitch. And Shu is struck out. And the Bandits. 3 up, 3 down. What a fine start for Jimmy Boyce. What a fine start for the Auckland Tuatara. What a world of confidence that'll do.
That absolutely changes the game for them to go out there, out of the sun quickly, get in, start swinging the bats. If they can continue that for the next few innings, it'll put them on track for a heck of a ball game.
And it's not like the Tuatara bats have been cold, Ricky. We know they went 0-3 against Brisbane in the preseason, and they went 0-4 over in Perth.
They actually out-hit Brisbane in that preseason match. It was just circumstantial. They made a few errors and didn't get away with them. So the bats are definitely there for the Tuatara. They just need to string them together to manufacture those runs.
That's umpire Josh Weschler there, who we were talking about, the young Aucklander. making his way up the umpiring ranks. And now, Ricky, we're going to see Ryan Searle, number 44 there for the Bandits on the mound.
Yeah, no, I'm very interested to see how the start plays out for Ryan. You know, like I said, going from being a closer, which is you come out for an inning, possibly two, throw as hard as you can and just blow the opposition away, to having to pace yourself, get yourself at least five innings out. It's a big change to make, and very interesting to see how he does go with that.
What can the Tuatara bats expect to see coming out of his hand?
He throws high 80s, can be low 90s at times. He's got a good slider and a good changeup, so and he's not afraid to throw it all either, and he can throw it with command.
Eric Jenkins there, wanting to take some cuts at home plate, and one of the many players who've come from affiliates over in the States, Eric Jenkins, and from what we're told already fitting in very nicely among the Tuatara and a great teammate to have. Yeah,
I was down here on Wednesday. The boys, they had to put together some equipment for the field, and I tell you what, the team atmosphere in that clubhouse is pretty cool. The boys aren't afraid to have a bit of fun and muck around and not take things too seriously. And when you can have that kind of feeling in the clubhouse, it makes the games a lot easier to play.
A speedster is Eric Jenkins, both in the field and round the bases, and we saw that over in Perth, and it was a performance over there that earned him a spot in the ABL Team of the Week, and he comes into the series with a sizable average of 438. First pitch to Jenkins. He swings. That's out into the outfield, and that's the first hit in Auckland Tuatara history at home. And what a great start. Jenkins gets to first base on the first pitch and the first swing.
I'll tell you what, everything's going in Tuatara favour for solidifying this as a historical event. I mean, a 3-up, 3-down inning, a lead-off hit, first pitch.
It's a fickle game, though, isn't it, baseball? As the Tuatara learned the hard way.
I'm not getting ahead of myself. Not getting ahead of myself. Just it's good to see.
Daniel Lamb Hunt at the plate. Searle pitches, gets the call. I just caught the outside of the plate there. Has a look back to first. Keeps Jenkins honest. But the American speedster is back in time. Daniel Lamb Hunt, as I said, a representative of New Zealand Diamond Black, became the first official signing for the Tuatara just a few weeks ago. He's played the last 6 years in the German Bundesliga. Jenkins keeping a keen eye on pitcher Searle. And it's outside. Count goes to 1-1. The Tuatara have made no bones about that they will steal bases.
No, not at all. I mean, it's you've got to figure out where your speedsters are, who's got the ability on the base paths, and manufacture those runs. When you're not stringing hits together as well, Mincy he'll put the moves on and start putting the pressure on that pitcher. It's not comfortable as a pitcher, I'll tell you what, when you know you've got someone like Jenkins up there on first base.
Seems the umpires are going to have a chat about something. Saw first base coach Jimmy Southey there for the Auckland Tuatara. Had a fine basketball career at the local New Zealand NBL level. Still trots up and down the hardwood on a Wednesday night, in fact. Causing trouble. 1-1 the count. Jenkins on first. Searle pitches. Swung on. And that's hit foul by Daniel Lamb Hunt. Like I said, last 6 years in the German Bundesliga, the last 5 of those for the Bonn Capitals, after beginning his baseball career as a minor league player with the Atlanta Braves organisation, and in fact has had 3 seasons with the Brisbane Bandits from 2010 through to 2012. So an organisation he'll know well.
It was good to see that swing by Daniel there. I've noticed the last couple of series he's been getting a little overexcited at the plate. Saw a fastball on the outside edge and decided to go with it.
Pops that up.
I'm assuming that possibly hit one of the tailgate vehicles that are sitting out there in right field. I think there's about 8 brand new Toyota Hiluxes.
Ford Rangers?
Ford Rangers, apologies.
Keep our sponsors happy, shall we?
Yeah.
Yeah, we are hamstrung slightly, the fact that can't see too high in the air, can we, from where we're sitting. Where the ball goes, we'll do our best. Jenkins takes a couple of steps by way of a lead at first base. Count is 1 and 2. Daniel Lamb Hunt awaits. Sell pitches. Jenkins goes to steal second, and he's safe. Well, we said he was a speedster, didn't we? By Matt Pearson saw that as safe. Maybe the Brisbane Bandits middle infield didn't. He got a good lead and a good finish, a good dive there at the end, Ricky.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, he's fast, man.
2 and 2 the count, and a runner in scoring position with no out. Some promise, some early promise.
And this is where the Tuatara need to make sure they capitalise.
Swung on, that looks like it's landed in right field. Jenkins rounds third. And that is the first run on home soil for the Auckland Tuatara. Daniel Lamb Hunt drives Eric Jenkins in. Fitting that the RBI comes from a Kiwi.
I tell you what, just as I was saying it, he did exactly what you need to do in that position. You get that pitch and you drive it the other way. You have a runner on second base. You're trying to move him around, trying to score him. You want to hit behind him. Daniel Lamb Hunt doing a heck of a job there.
And the Tuatara players liked it, and the Tuatara crowd liked it too. Auckland take a 1-0 lead over Brisbane in the bottom of the first with no out. Daniel Lamb Hunt in scoring position there at second base. Josh Shell with a bit of work to do as he pitches to Max Brown, the right fielder.
Ryan Searle.
Max Brown, another New Zealander in this Auckland Tuatara lineup.
Max is a 3-time international representative for New Zealand. 2012 WBC qualifier, the Under-21 World Cup in Taiwan, and then the 2016 WBC qualifier. So he's been around for quite a while now.
And stint with the Adelaide Bite in last season's Australian Baseball League. Swing and a miss on that one.
He's actually one of the fastest tall guys I've seen in my life.
He's a tall, skinny man, isn't he? But he can move.
He can cover some ground out there in the outfield, and having him behind you as a pitcher is really something that builds your confidence.
Well, he's in a hole here, is he, Max Brown? 0 and 2. Looking to stay alive. Pops that one up to centre field. Lamb Hunt looks like he's going to tag up. Thinks better and heads back to second base. And that's 1 out for the Tuatara. And in comes Chris Richards.
So this is an interesting story. Chris is he's played a fair bit of professional baseball and baseball around the world, but he's been coaching for the last few years and has
in the Wellington region of New Zealand.
Yeah, he came from Czech Republic where he helped them with their program, and he's been down as our development officer down in Wellington.
And he hit the first ever home run in Tuatara history, and I was lucky enough to be covering the nationwide trials that the Tuatara did in Wellington, Christchurch and Auckland, trying to find a few players to fill out the development side of that roster. And Chris, who was helping run the trials in Wellington and Christchurch, decided to have a go himself in Auckland, made the team and hit the first home run in franchise history.
Yeah, well, it's he had fair reason to. He's still got the arm. He's had Tommy John surgery, so you know he's got the strength in his elbow now with the extra couple of ligaments wrapped around the joint there. But he still pops it up around 88, 89 miles an hour. So being used as a two-way guy is going to be critical for this team. Having those guys that can do both for when the pitching does fall a bit slim.
He pops that one up behind him over the fence. Daniel De La Salle cannot get to that one. It's a high fence here at McLeod Park. Keep the neighbours happy. Two and 1 the count. 0 and 2, sorry. 0 and 2 the count. So keeping a keen eye on Daniel Lamb-Hunt at second base.
Just want to go back and touch on how well they've done with this field. I mean, Kev's done an amazing job getting this infield and the dirt in pristine condition. But even the fence 2 days ago wasn't even here. So the fact that we're playing baseball right now, it's amazing.
It is amazing, and Ryan Searle gets the strikeout, and Chris Richards goes down looking. And up steps left fielder Zach Clark. Big things expected of Zach Clark, the Tuatara rookie.
Yeah, another prospect coming in from the States. He's definitely the character of the team, that's for sure. Watching him playing the DJ decks on the barbecue and the clubhouse the other night on the news was quite interesting to watch.
Searle just checks there at second base on Lamb-Hunt. Not in any danger of stealing third at the moment. Likes to keep him honest though. That first pitch inside.
So one of the things when talking to Mincy just after their camp before they headed to Brisbane for that pre-season series, Zach hit a couple balls about 500 feet into gale force winds blowing in and kind of just shocked everyone. So it'd be interesting to see what he can do here today.
Checks the swing but too late on that one. 1-1. Ryan Searle, a big man, not the kind of pitcher I'd be charging the mound at.
Yeah, so he's gentle-hearted though. He's a good guy, Ryan. It's good to see him still playing baseball at this level. He spent a fair bit of time in Taiwan in the CPBL. Played a little bit of MILB as well, and has been around the traps in Queensland for quite some time.
Nice pitch, catches the outside there. Zach Clark goes to a 1 ball and 2 strikes. Steps away, doesn't like what he sees. Searle. And they'll just reset that one. In the dirt. Well picked up by Daniel De La Salle behind the plate. Now is Ryan Searle letting Daniel Lamb-Hunt bother him a little bit too much behind him at second base?
Yeah, possibly. I mean, you can never tell what's going on in a pitcher's mind. He could be pitching around Zach knowing that he's got a strong bat with a runner in scoring position. You know, you got an open base there. If he walks him.
Pitch and Clark lets that go through. He's not happy with himself. Tuatara leave one stranded, but they do bring one home as well. Daniel Lamb-Hunt with the first RBI on home soil for the Auckland Tuatara brings Eric Jenkins in. And Auckland lead Brisbane 1-0 at the end of the first.
This is going to win a voucher for a pair of red Daniels from Skiller. Here's our 3 contestants.
Still, mate. Nice and still, please.
Michelle 1, big 3. Give him a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for number throw. Here we have that game that we have to be top standing. And the Auckland Tuatara, Brisbane Bandits 1-0.
She's not happy. It's a long road back.
Powerade Ion 4 replaces 4 electrolytes lost in sweat to drive today's athletes forward.
Adams inside. Pascoe coming back strong.
What a comeback. What a champion.
Boyce pitching to Wade Dutton. Swinging has popped that up. It looks like it's going to go over the fence.
Wade Dutton, another one of the Bandits veterans, has been around his whole life in Queensland, in Brisbane, playing baseball. For a guy that doesn't look like he's got a lot of size behind him, I tell you what, he can hit a ball a long way.
Gets hold of that one, doesn't he? He's hit it straight to Chris Richards. He makes a nice play for shortstop.
Tuatara looking the goods out there at the moment. If they can just keep that together for 9 innings, we're going to have ourselves a ball game.
Oh, 9 is 9, sorry.
9 today, 7 tomorrow.
And that was the difference, wasn't it? If you look at the two stats from these two teams over round 1, 8 errors from Auckland Tuatara in their opening series against Perth. He just the one for the Bandits. Against the bite there, so I mean that makes a huge difference, doesn't it?
Makes all the difference in the world, and that's something we preach even as you grow up to your juniors. You limit the amount of errors you make, the better your baseball is. I mean, you make an error out in the field, you've got to stay out there longer, usually out in the heat, being a summer sport, and it makes it harder for your hitters to hit as well. If you're out there for too long, you're not getting in the groove. Usually come in 3 up, 3 down, and then you're back out again.
Boyce throws a first ball strike to Donald Lutz. Second pitch just outside.
Donald Lutz has got some big league time under his belt with the Cincinnati Reds. I tell you what, I think the furthest ball I've ever seen hit was by him. And strong ties to the Bandits. He's been coming down to Brisbane for a lot of years.
Just gets over the top of that one. It's dealt with nicely by Wu Young Ju at first base, the one known as Itchy.
Jimmy Boyce doing a good job of keeping him off balance there. It's good to see him staying composed, throwing his off-speed pitches for strikes, and then locating his fastball. The quicker his innings are too, the longer he'll be able to stay out there on the mound. The deeper into the game we can go and we can save that bullpen.
These youngsters, Ricky, it's especially the young Kiwis, it's a dream spot to be in, right? Because you can go to college, and I mean, there's a lot of competition at colleges. First of all, there's a lot of colleges. First pitch gets a strike there. Boyce against David Sutherland. But to play in your local league, which Major League Baseball do look at as a viable pathway as a youngster, and start for your hometown team in front of your hometown fans, it's a little bit special, isn't it?
It's huge for our young kids wanting to go elsewhere with baseball now. The ABL is like the Mexican major leagues, or your what they call winter leagues. So when MLB stops and it goes to winter in the States, they send their players out to the winter leagues, and they use that as a stepping stone to either get up through the ranks or to get some off-season work in, and also a good place for scouts to find more talent. And the likes of Jimmy Boyce, who's been over and played college, but just he wants to go professional now. This is his way to go.
Just lost a bit of control on those last 3 pitches. The count goes to 3-1. Tuatara looking for that first win. The other expansion team in the league, Geelong Korea, picked up theirs last night against Perth.
They did. I tell you what, it was a completely different team. How they looked out there compared to their opening series.
David Sutherland draws a walk. First man on base for the Brisbane Bandits. Bryan Battaglia steps to the plate, the right fielder. always like to keep a keen eye on Sutherland. Is he a steal prospect?
No, Goofy is first baseman power guy. Sorry, David Sutherland, aka Goofy. I actually grew up playing with him my whole life, so
He's rocking the moustache nicely. You can see from
they all
November.
are, mate. They're into that Movember buzz. A few of them actually rock it the entire year. So.
First pitch a little high. That would be a little high as well from Bryan Battaglia. Jenkins comes in. The side is retired with no damage on the scoreboard. Jimmy Boy's enjoying his work out there for the Auckland Tuatara rookie.
He's got himself into a groove, and that's what we need. We need quick innings out in the field, get the boys in, swing the bats, and the longer we can leave the Bandits out in the field, you know, the harder it is for them to get into the groove. So it's good to see Jimmy out there pounding the zone, making Brisbane swing the bats, and try and do the job on him.
So we just have to move it slightly. Yeah, we'll just see what happens in this one, because everyone's different. The umpire moved in. Yeah, the umpire was kind of very, just see where the guy pitches and the guy to the right. The umpire was kind of standing there.
Well, he is make sure you check out something more extra sort of times. There are good minutes over there beyond the right line. Here's a great day. Great to see some of the people here as we get along to this very special day in sport. Brisbane Tuatara wins the Brisbane Bandits 1-0. And we're leading off all the Tuatara 52.
Guian Zhu steps to the plate for the Auckland Tuatara, the one known as Itchy, playing first base today. A lot of raps on him. Ricky, the sole Chinese player in this eclectic mix of Tuatara.
I'll tell you what, it's impressive watching him play. He's a heck of a ball player, and China's only just starting out like New Zealand is with baseball. I know they've definitely got a great academy program running over there. And Ray Chang, who's actually one of Donald Lutz's old teammates with Cincinnati, who played for the national team in the WBC and actually brought baseball to China, has done a lot of heavy work over there, and this is one of those byproducts.
First pitch is high and wide. The second pitch gets Zhu swinging. The count goes to 1-1.
So do you know how he got the nickname Itchy?
No, I was wondering that.
It's Japanese for one, isn't it?
Yeah, but isn't he Chinese?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Oh, so you don't know?
No, I don't know.
Oh, I thought you were going to regale us with the story.
No. I'm a little confused as to where it's come from, which is why I've asked. But
yeah, well, we need to
we'll
find
have
that
to have
out.
a chat to him.
Yeah, we'll find that out tomorrow. 2-1 the count as that one goes low and outside from Searle. Delicao gives him the cool. And Zhu gets hold of one into right field. It lands fair. He's going to work his way around the bases as Daniel Nielsen gets a handle on it. And Itchy goes into second base.
It's hard to tell if that was a hit or an error. It looked like it had only just got past the left fielder out there, and the umpire did need to say it was safe. But he's watching him last week and the week before, the way he goes with the pitch. If it's inside, he'll pull it. If it's away, he'll go the other way, and that's a big credit to him.
Now, if you play baseball in New Zealand, or have anything to do with baseball in New Zealand, you know this man who's just stepped up to the plate, Andrew Mark.
He's also an ex-Bandit.
Yes, ex-Bandit. Played a wee bit in America as well when he was a young man. A mainstay for a long time at Pakadanga Club, and Mark swings at the first pitch and gets hold of it. I think it was taken out in centre field. Sort of lost it. Our camera's lost it there. I think it was taken down in centre field, and it looks like Zhu took the opportunity to tag up.
Oh, he did? Okay.
And work his way to third base.
It was good to see Andrew make some contact. I know in the pre-season series against Brisbane, Mintz did have a word to him and say, take a bit of time off and quiet down your swing. A little bit too much going on there, and it looks like he's heeded that advice and made some real good contact on that pitch.
To Bishop, Bo Bishop at the plate. runner in scoring position as he fouls that straight into the ground.
Now Ryan has two breaking pitches. He has that real loopy, big breaking pitch, and then he has a nice tight slider, and it's can really throw hitters off as to which one it is because they both hold the same rotation, the same arm speed, and it's one of the reasons why he's been so effective over the past half a decade.
Bishop finds the shortstop, makes the play at first, but it brings a run in. And the Tuatara go 2-0 up. Guillaume Zhu makes his way from third base over home plate, and that initial hit from Zhu has been ruled as a single on a line drive to left field. So earned runs all round.
It's good to see the Tuatara bats doing their job with runners in scoring position now.
Good team baseball, isn't it?
It is,
Good
it is.
team
And so
baseball.
it was the one thing that was lacking in that Perth series. Leaving too many runners on base. The swings were too big. They're all, trying to hit the ball over the fence. Now they've just quieted themselves down and trying to do a job and score runs.
Luke Hansen at the plate. Swung a miss on the first, gets out of the way of the second. 1-1 the count. Hansen, another local lad, Kiwi from the Hawick-Pakiranga Baseball Club in Auckland, and really worked hard to get into this team. Went over to Adelaide the past few years and playing over there in the bite system in the local leagues. As that one goes to the dirt and count goes to 2-1. Went to the nationwide trials and then really worked his way through that pre-season, worked his way into form, worked his way into the team over in Brisbane in the pre-season, didn't he?
He did, and I mean he's had a little bit of trouble out there, but he's done everything he has to do to get himself on that squad. Now
chops that one down, and that is a nice play from TJ Bennett to retire Luke Hansen and retire the side, but not before the Tuatara can put another one on the board. There's 2-0 to Auckland over Brisbane.
Miss out on the first shot, which is available outside the engagement when he came in. He's done a great job of designing and producing uniforms, hats, hoodies. And still available are the limited edition inaugural season t-shirts. Again, as the US was 10 outside the main race. And if you want to follow us on social media or on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, hashtag Auckland Tuatara. This game is also streamed live on the Auckland Tuatara site. So if you've got friends and family who are at home, you could be here. So tune in tomorrow's game.
2-0 to the Tuatara. One run in each inning so far. Let's talk before the game, Ricky, of Jimmy Boyce. Not expected to last too long out there, and Josh Colemanter to come out the bullpen early, but Boyce has earned his time out there, hasn't he?
he has, and I'd say there's a very good chance if he keeps this pace up and he keeps his pitch count down in the rate that he seems to be going at the moment, we will see him at least go 4 or 5 innings for them to be able to hold Josh Colemanter. But I would say that Mincy's got him on a short leash. If he does start to struggle a little bit, then I don't think he'll be given too many chances out there.
Starts off with 2 strikes to left fielder Daniel Nielsen. Finds himself in a hole. Doesn't get the call on that one, just outside, and the count goes to 1 and 2. Nielsen in the...
I believe Dan recently played for Australia in the Under-23 World Cup. He's a long-time stalwart in Queensland, and relative to Dave Nielsen, there's a few brothers that had a lot of sons that have all done really well in the game.
pitch from Boyce. Nielsen hooks it to Luke Hansen at second base, who makes the play to Zhu at first. Nielsen finds himself going down Highway 53 for the first out of the inning. Absolutely splendid day in the west of Auckland. Daniel Delicao, catcher. Decides not to swing. First pitch is a strike from Boyce. Pitch. Oh! Loses control of that one. Let's just get out of the way.
Just get him off balance. That was a purpose pitch, that was.
Still going to miss in the nice breaking ball from Boyce.
I like the decision on that pitch to go with the breaking ball again after throwing one wild. I mean, most hitters would sit there expecting you to try and come back in the zone with a fastball, which De La Salle obviously had. Good to see Jimmy throw one low in the zone and get him swinging.
1-2 count. Swings, gets hold of that one, puts it high. A couple of Tuatara chasing out to the third base stands. The crowd seem to think it's been caught, but I think it was dropped.
It was on the transfer, mate.
That's what they'll be claiming. Well, the umpires haven't bought it. Chris Rich is out there with the slide. Double call remains 1-2. One out on top of the third for the Bandits. Tuatara with a 2-0 lead. Delicao waits. Boyce pitches. Fouls it off behind him. Breaking ball, that looks like he's got hold of that Delicao. Eric Jenkins though had other ideas. Tracked it back nicely, makes the play. 2 out for Brisbane. Campbell steps up for another go. Flew out to Jenkins himself in the first inning to lead off the game. Just outside from Boyce. How long do you expect Jimmy Boyce to go, Ricky? Is he goes to 2-0 against Campbell?
Depends on if he gets Campbell, I think. If he gets him out, I'd expect to see him go a couple more.
Swing, it's going to go to the infield. Bare-handed from Richards. Campbell beats out the throw.
It's a tough one for Richards. Nice slow roller.
Tough one for Boyce, isn't it?
It is.
As well to see that happen. Campbell makes it to first. TJ Bennett up next for the Bandits. Ruled a single from Andrew Campbell.
Yep. That's the thing with the scoreboards, mate. They don't have pictures on them.
Got hold of that nicely is TJ Bennett, and that's going out to right field. Campbell rounds second, Bennett rounds first. Campbell looking to go all the way, he's being waved in. Bennett stops at second, and it's a run on the board for the Bandits. Simple as that. From first to third goes Andrew Campbell. We know he's got wheels.
Yeah, good piece of hitting there too. Put one down the line.
RBI to right field from TJ Bennett, who finds himself on second base with an RBI double. Andrew Campbell high fives his teammates as he works his way back to the dugout with Brisbane's first run of the game. Top of the third, one out for the Bandits. Find themselves 2-1 down in the ball game. Boyce finds the dirt, and that should see TJ Bennett advance to third base. It does.
Now, I know we can't see the bullpen from here, but I'd be interested to know if there's any movement there.
If there's a certain 7-year Major League Baseball pitcher warming up. Is that what you're wondering?
That's
Josh
yeah, that was
Colmenter. Which is Su Chi Hung, third baseman for the Bandits. Runner on third, and Boyce gets his way back to work nicely with a strike. Struck his man out in the first inning to Jimmy Boyce on 5 pitches. It's 1-1 now. It's just outside, count goes to 2-1. Brings a .313 average into the game with 2 RBI so far this season, does Su Chi Hung. There's a piece on that one, and it's gone foul. Crowd get themselves a bit of action there over on the third base line.
That ball was humming too. Interesting to see if anyone was able to catch it.
Yes, bring your gloves to the game, Tuatara fans.
And keep your eyes on the field.
Yes, please. I tell you what, they're not bad, Ricky. For a temporary stadium, this has surpassed my expectations, and I'm an optimistic guy. Pitch from Boyce.
It's impressive, it really is, and really good to see.
And an easy out at first.
I did think there was 2 outs before. I was a little thrown by that, but able to get out relatively undamaged. They still give up the 1 run.
Give it the 1 run to Jim Boyce, but they retain the lead. 2-1 to the Tuatara.
Stands, we will get to you.
Hi, it's nice to be here to be able to report that Radio Sport's doing all the winning. We're doing all the winning on Sports Day, and look, we're doing all the winning on Art Day as well. It's an art attack. Christmas cracker style joke there.
This is the most blatant form of tagging I've ever seen in my life, and I'm really, really pleased that Radio Sport are behind it. Nothing like a bit of art, bringing a bit of culture to the wonderful world of sport. Radio Sport, more than just rugby balls, son.
Welcome back, Ryan Searle. Back to action as he faces the top of the order, Eric Jenkins. Crossed home plate in the first inning to bring in the first run on home soil for the Auckland Tuatara. Face to Searle again. The pitch, and that is in the dirt from Searle. So on the first pitch. Back in the bottom of the first did Eric Jenkins. Holds off of that one to go 2-0.
Another thing to point out with this ABL and the league down here and what it's really done for players, I mean, there's so many ABL alumni that have gone on to play in the big leagues and cement themselves a real solid and long career. And this is what these guys are looking to do as well, you know, just boost their experience, get some off-season play, get back in February or March to camp.
Jenkins gets hold of that. He goes out to the second baseman.
And hopefully
Wade Dutton.
Move themselves up the ranks. But it's it goes to show just the quality of baseball that the ABL has been able to produce since its rebirth.
Daniel Lamb Hunt comes to the plate, an RBI to his name in the first inning. Breaking ball is wide. Lamb Hunt's second RBI for the season. Average of 231. Finds the strike zone there, Ryan Sell. 1-1 the count. Checks his swing, but it finds the zone anyway. Lamb Hunt 1 and 2. He strikes him out. Lamb Hunt goes down. So Ryan Searle finding his groove.
Yeah, Searle starting to pitch backwards a little bit there. Breaking ball, fastball. You know, it just goes to show he's got that trust in his pitches and the experience to start unsettling the Tuatara hitters.
Tall, rangy figure of Max Brown comes to the plate. He's got hold of that one.
And it's
all the way back and it's hit the fence at the warning track. Here's Bryan Battaglia as Max Brown makes his way to third base. And he does so with relative ease. Gets a nice piece, sits it out to centre right field. And backs himself a triple.
Yeah, that's that speed that Max has got. I tell you, I mean, even the way he runs, it doesn't look like he gets motoring. But when you're 6'6", 6'7", and your stride is a bit bigger than that, that gets you moving around the bases pretty quickly.
We are slightly hamstrung by what we can see. We are in a wee caravan out in right field. So we go on what we can see on the pitches. Just as Searle seem to be finding a rhythm, Ricky. Gives up a pretty loud triple. So Max Brown sits on third base. Chris Richards at the plate. First pitch, he watches. Breaking ball, right down the middle. One home run and 2 RBIs. It's Chris Richards so far in this young ABL season. Average of 286.
Tell you what, a home run here would see the crowd absolutely jumping up and down, wouldn't it? An impressive little bit of a crowd here today. Baseball not being a big sport in this country, it's really good to see everyone come out and witness the Tuatara's historic first game.
The 0-1 pitch, Richards gets hold of it. Going back to left field, it finds some grass. Daniel Nielsen couldn't get to it on the full. Max Brown comes in. As Rick and I scramble to the small window in our commentary hut. And the Tuatara take a 3-1 lead. Chris Richard with an RBI double to left field. Daniel Nielsen couldn't pull in. Max Brown with the run.
I can see me pulling the headphones out of the socket at one of these points when I jump up for that little crack in the window.
The Tuatara bats looking pretty good so far, Ricky.
Yeah, and this is what I meant about them actually looking the goods and all they needed to do was start settling themselves down. Mincy made comment they looked too excited. The blood was pumping. The nerves were starting to get the better of them, or the excitement, not necessarily the nerves. But
Well, there'll be some nerves there as well, right?
Of course, and I mean, a lot of these guys know that the pressure that's on their shoulders and the fact that they need this season to be successful for the Tuatara to be successful here at home, and to maintain this franchise here in Auckland. So, you know, a lot of things going on there, but it definitely looks like they found their groove, found their rhythm. And if they can maintain this sort of baseball, then, you know, they're going to bring some wins home with them, and hopefully see them in the postseason.
Zach Clark, the left fielder at the plate for the Tuatara. That's Chris Richards in jersey number 14. Second base after a nice double out to left field. 0-2 the count after 2 called strikes on Clark. The pitch. Clark checks his swing. Checks it nicely. They do have a look down to the first base umpire, who says Clark didn't go round. 1-2 the count. Two out and a runner in scoring position for the Tuatara. Just 1 out, I think, for the Tuatara. Daniel Lamb Hunt striking out.
Sorry, 2 down.
Of course. Eric Jenkins, of course. Ground out to second base. 2-2 the count now to Zach Clark. 1-2, sorry, the count to Zach Clark. Sill gets a sign from Delacal. The pitch. Swung on from Clark. Foul ball down the third base line.
Tell you what, another thing with Chris Richards doing as well as he is at the moment, he is almost a cult following down where he coaches in Wellington, where he, you know, he's done an amazing job building the sport down there. You know, there's really been no baseball other than a couple of clubs over the past few years, and he's come in and helped them to build and given them some presence from Baseball New Zealand down there. And so those kids that are working with him all the time.
Yes. A bit of a work to do to get back to second base, but he does. He gets that nice crisp white Tuatara uniform a bit dirty.
Yeah, if you're not dirty, mate, you're not working hard enough.
They do look good, the teal of the Tuatara, don't they?
They do. I'll tell you what, I've already put my orders in for one of those white hats.
Yes.
They definitely look the goods, and I mean, listening to everyone around Australia last week, they all very impressed with how they look.
I think pitch there. Tyres aside. And the Tuatara take a 3-1 lead into the 4th inning.
We have 3 more games going this weekend. Double header tomorrow, Case Opening 11, first pitch at noon. Second game starting as with today at 3 p.m. Then Sunday, Case Opening 2, 3 p.m.
Chainsaws need real grunt. Your mates won't believe the jobs you can tackle with a Makita 18-volt X2 brushless chainsaw. Using Makita LXT batteries that power the world's largest 18-volt power tool range. Makita, one battery, one platform, one solution.
Jimmy Boyce gets ready to throw his 4th inning of work today. 2 up for the Brisbane Bandits. In the top of the 4th, Wade Dutton, Donald Lutz and David Sutherland in the middle of the order there.
Yeah, I think
4, 5
what
and
Mincy will
6.
be looking from Jimmy is if he can maintain what he's been doing and keeping Brisbane at bay, he'll leave him out there for as long as possible. I know you go, as a coach, you go into the game with a plan, but so many things can change that plan, and you don't want to give up on your pitcher unless you really have to.
Let's see if the young Aucklander can repay his manager's faith. First pitch to Dutton. Makes the meal of getting out of the way of it. And there's the ball. Swings at that one, gets hold of it off towards the end of his bat, and looks like it's going foul. Into the crowd along the first base line. Two RBI so far this season for Wade Dutton.
I
Be
think
looking to get his average up there as the season goes. 188 at the moment. 1-1 the count.
Not sure if you've seen it, but the double play that him and Soupy made last week, probably going to be one of the ABL plays of the year for sure. But good to see Wade back with the Bandits. I mean, he's been there for quite a while.
1-2 to count. The boys swing and a miss there. Oh! Bishop goes to throw it down the third base line and throws it straight into Dutton's bat. Strikes him out swinging though, and in comes Donald Lutz. Grounded out to first, back in the top of the second inning. Big lefty, sporting the big slug. Watches that one go just a little outside.
I actually think Lutzy is one of the guys that sports it year round.
Constant slug?
Yeah.
I respect men like that.
Hey, if you can grow a good mustache, you got to rock it, don't you?
I think you do. I really think you do. Boyce pitches. Tries to find the bottom corner, doesn't.
Donald Lutz is almost, his second home would have to be Brisbane. Came down when he started out playing professional baseball, originally from Germany. His MLB franchise sent him down to Brisbane to get some off-season work with the Windsor Royals, which is where the Bandits are now home-based. And since then has built some relationships and played quite a few seasons for the Bandits now.
Swing and a miss on the third pitch.
Actually, I'll have to double check it, but I believe it was either his debut in the big leagues was on Mother's Day, or was on Mother's Day he hit a home run when his mum's first time coming to watch him at a game, so that was pretty cool.
Son of the year. Watches that one's called strike, and the count goes to 2-2. Boyce looking impressive out there, the young New Zealander.
Yeah, it looked like a good little change up there with some sinking action. Hard to tell when we unfortunately don't have a radar to go by.
There's a man behind that Perspex screen. Some sort of contraction.
Yeah, it's a
He gets hold of that one, hits it up to the middle infield, and that looks like a nice play from Luke Jensen. One of the quieter members of the Auckland Tuatara, and I'd probably say of the ABL. Luke Jensen, but a lovely man.
I'd have to say sneaky quiet though. There's been quite a few times I've gone to give him some knuckles, a little fist bump, and he's thrown in a change up or a little how do you do. So he's not afraid to have some fun, but he's a kind of kid that puts his head down. He works
very hard worker and a lovely young man.
Very resilient too. He had a fair bit of trouble in Taiwan, the under-21s, with the glove, and he's persevered through.
David Sutherland drew a walk in the top of the second. He's ground himself out to Gui Yanzhu. The side is retired.
I'll tell you what, that is not 3 easy guys to get up and down in order right there.
So Jimmy Boyce has just gone through the number 4, 5 and 6.
Yeah, well, Wade Dutton last season
pitches.
Was one of the best hitters in the league, hitting in the 7 to 9 hole. It was just, to get him out was a nightmare for pitchers. Lutz, big league experience and one of the stronger bats in the competition. And then David Sutherland, 2 home runs last week. One of them probably wasn't more than 15 feet in the air, and it went out in right field.
Laser.
So I think we'll probably see Jimmy go out there for quite a fair bit more.
No pitching restriction on the young man. I know some of the youngsters do have some pitching restrictions put on them by their parent clubs.
Yeah, and it's I've seen a lot of people talking about it, and they're not happy. Kyle Grogoski had to come out in that game. That was a heartbreaker last series.
Kyle Grogoski, the young
Philadelphia Philly.
19-year-old, isn't he?
He might be 19, yes.
19-year-old Aucklander who's currently attached to the Philadelphia Phillies organisation, and one of, if not the hottest prospect out there in New Zealand baseball at the moment.
It definitely is the hottest. But yeah, those pitching restrictions they put on them, obviously, pitching overarm puts a lot of strain on the body, and these clubs spend a lot of money on these players to make sure that they make it to the big leagues, and the clubs can make their return on investment for them, and that's why we see these restrictions. So just to let the folks at home know why these things happen.
Here's Gui Yanzhu, wearing jersey number 52, the first baseman from China. 4 RBIs to his name so far this season. A hit and a run so far in this game. And a hearty cut to start this at bat. Seed number 6, 7 and 8.
So I'd like to see from a hitter as well, and that's we were talking about earlier when he hit that ball the other way, is he commits to his swing. Whether he gets beat or he doesn't, he goes up with a game plan and he commits to it, and that's a sign of a great hitter.
Committed to the first 2, that's for sure. 2 loud swings and misses. So pokes that out into left field, and he finds himself the one he committed to the least, and he gets on. That's baseball for you, though, isn't it? He pokes it out into
that's
left field.
2-strike hitting for you right there. That's not trying to do too much with it. Protecting the plate, he choked up a little, and I tell you what, I think this kid's going to be a staple in this lineup.
Here's Andrew Mark facing Ryan Searle. Sacrifice fly in his first at bat. Imposing man at the plate, isn't he? With a very relaxed looking stance. Andrew Mark.
He is, and I tell you what, I think it was last season, the season before, he went the entire season and up until the last at bat of the national championships without striking out. For a guy who grew up as a pitcher predominantly, he's got probably the best hand-eye coordination I've seen from someone over here in the New Zealand competition. Probably not the most likely guy to be out here on the lineup, but just everyone at home, he is got his own batting cage.
Everyone knows Pinky. He goes by the name of Pinky for his pinkish hue, his complexion.
I've heard all different kinds of stories as to where that nickname came from.
That's the PG one I'm sticking with today.
Oh, they're all PG. It's just which one's the real one. I can't find out.
He does own a batting cages, and he is the reigning, I think 3-time reigning New Zealand Domestic Player of the Year in the local
batting
league.
Champion, yeah.
And batting champion, and long-time member of the Howick Pakaranga Club, and switched to Bayside West Haven recently and led them to an Auckland Championship. And he gets hold of that one, and that looks like it's going to fall safely into right field, and it does.
Well, it's the second one he's gone the other way with, so he's definitely gone back and done some work on his hitting, and it's really good to see.
And that was a patient swing, wasn't it?
Yep.
He didn't rush that one. He knew where he was putting it, and he advances Zhu to second base. And Andrew Mark goes to first.
And that was what Mincy was talking about, and that he's just doing this. There's too much going on with his swing. Whether it's nerves and the fact that he hasn't seen anything over 90 miles an hour before. Really good to see him go back, do some work, and come out here and hit a couple of good baseballs. The first one out to deep right field. It was caught, unfortunately. Moving the runners around now.
Of course, his last stint in the ABL for the Brisbane Bandits was as a pitcher. As Bishop looks to bunt, and he bunts beautifully, advances both runners. And that, as you can see by Jimmy Southey's reaction, the first base coach, was perfection drawn up.
That is textbook baseball right there, and we don't see enough of it anymore, the bunt game. I know a lot of people are trying to steer away from it, but they talk about manufacturing runs, and you can't manufacture runs unless you do the small things properly. An excellent job there by Bo Bishop. Good to see Johnny Southey out there coaching first base as well. He's one of our up-and-coming junior coaches. He's got a young fella that's a New Zealand representative, And I'll tell you what, nobody works harder than Johnny Southey when it comes to growing our youth baseball. He's always around, always smiling. Actually, he was down here putting the fences and nets together as well the last couple of days. So,
well, as Dave Nielsen talks to his pitcher, Ryan Searle, it wasn't just Johnny Southey putting the fences and nets together, was it? I came down yesterday and I see the playing group assembling the merchandise stand.
Yeah.
And I look at the likes of John Holdscombe, of course, his pitcher for the Pittsburgh Pirates and just coming back from injury and will be part of the Tuatara soon. And Josh Colementor, who we mentioned, 7 years in the major leagues, and here he is down in sunny Auckland putting together a merchandise tent.
Yeah, that's when you want to get back to the big leagues, you've got to do the dues, right?
It has been all hands on deck, and let me tell you, not a grumpy face among them, or the team more than happy to fill in, because it has been a bit of a, I don't want to say rush job, but it was only a couple of months ago where this team was confirmed in the ABL, Ricky, and it has been all hands on deck since then.
That's been the thing. I mean, we've known the possibility's been there for some time, and nothing was signed off until a couple of months ago, so it has been a mad rush, and a massive credit to the team. The likes of Ryan Flynn, Pandy Fruin, Dan Tan. We got Dale Budge now, Nick, who's the media guy. I mean, everybody's worked their necks off to get this going.
This is Luke Hansen. Hits one out into left field along the ground. That's going to bring in 1 run. Mark goes to third base. And that is what Luke Hansen was doing in the preseason as well. He was coming in the 9 hole, but getting the job done.
It's really good to see these bats heating up. I mean, playing at home is an advantage. People try to say, is it not? I tell you, in any sport, home field is an advantage, and these boys are lapping up the crowd, lapping up the sunshine here in sunny Auckland, which is probably the first sunny day we've had in quite a while.
We're hoping it sticks around for the weekend, aren't we? Because there is talk of thunderstorms for right now, though.
I've got the war paint, and we're going to do a little bit of a rain dance to get it to stay away.
Right now, Eric Jenkins has got runners on first and third, and a 4-1 lead for his Tuatara.
Wasn't getting cheated on that swing, that's for sure.
A big swing and a miss, and the count goes to 0-1. Do we think that Steve Mintz looks to advance Hansen here and avoid the double play?
No, you don't want to, for someone like Eric Jensen who's been hitting the ball so well, you don't want to force that out. You don't want to take the risk of Hansen being thrown out and then going to 2 out. Let Jenkins do his job, hits the ball hard enough, and let the bats do the speaking.
First page coach Johnny Southey does have a quiet word with them, so to Jenkins. Swings on it. And they look to turn 2. And it might be an illegal slide from Luke Hansen.
Yeah, Hansen's put his hands up.
Play. Yeah. So the second baseman made the play.
It's a little unfortunate.
Dutton found TJ Bennett. Looked to turn 2. Hansen sliding in. The umpire saying illegally,
which is a
stop
shame.
TJ Bennett making the throw to 1. And then you can see manager Steve Mintz out there with some purpose in his stride. The umpire has called it a double play, even though the runner at first wasn't thrown out. The call is an illegal slide.
Not entirely sure where that call's come from, but I mean it is disappointing because I think Eric Jenkins would have been safe anyway, and the run would have scored.
Second base umpire Matt Pearson made the call. Steve Mintz is out there.
Yeah, I'd be arguing it too. It's hard to say.
Arguing
when you've slid down on your backside and put your hands in the air that they've interfered. That's part of breaking up the double play.
Hands up, not feet up.
I can be a little bit biased here and say it was a little unfair, but the Tuatara definitely looking.
It's not often you see a manager make an umpire change his mind, so I'm not holding my breath here.
It'll never happen.
Yeah,
I don't think we'll
that stand
without the video replay.
Anyway, the Tuatara take a 4-1 lead into the top of the 5th. Due up, Bryan Battaglia, the right fielder, Daniel Nielsen, and Danny Delacau for the Brisbane Bandits as they look to try and erase a 3-run lead. Jimmy Boyce back out there on the bump for the Tuatara, looking to go into his 5th inning of work.
Brisbane. Number 29, Bryan Battaglia.
Bryan Battaglia at the plate, facing down Jimmy Boyce. Boyce pitches. Battaglia lets that go through for a first pitch strike. Swings, gets hold of that one. Nice play made by Chris Richards. The throw beats out Battaglia, and it's 1 down for the Bandits. And the Tuatara, Ricky, just looking more confident with the ball and glove than they did over the weekend in Perth.
Yeah, most definitely, and that's that same thing again. You know, they've calmed themselves down and they're not too excited. They're not trying to play over their potential. They're just doing the basics, doing the fundamentals, and making the outs, which is really good to see. I believe Dan Nilsson was a pitcher when he was with the Bite a few years ago, and has since shown that he can swing the bat, which is, I mean, it's every pitcher's dream.
He gets hold of that one out into centre left. Eric Jenkins will be... Zach Clark comes in ahead of Jenkins and makes the play. 2 out, just like that. And Boyce is getting through his work well again here in the top of the 5th. Danny Delicau, the catcher.
So I think there was
that one in the dirt.
There was a poll going on the ABL fan group as to who has the most valuable hair in the league. Zach's on there. So was Goof's mustache, David Sutherland's mustache. And I believe Ryan Murphy with the combination of beautiful threads and mustache. It's something this league hasn't had any shortage of is facial hair, that's for sure. I know one of the assistant coaches with the Bandits made himself onto a international best mustache rankings, and
going global.
Not even sure how he got there.
1-1 the count after that foul pop from Danny Delicau. Boyce pitches. He swings and he's got hold of that Delicau, and he works his way onto first base with a nice single into right field.
Jimmy just needs to come back, get this next hitter out, show he hasn't been rattled.
2 out for the Bandits and a runner on first. Andrew Campbell at the plate. Flew out in the first. Scored a run in the third. And that pitch finds its way to the back fence. Delicau round second. He's looking to go all the way to third, and he will. It looks like they're still trying to find the ball back there, but he'll stop at third, Delicau.
Yeah,
and that's well, that puts Boyce under a bit of pressure by his own doing, doesn't it?
Yeah, all he has to do is just forget about that runner on third, get this hitter out. Little bit of missed fundamental baseball there from Jimmy. You know, ball in the dirt as a pitcher, you want to be pointing straight away as if it gets past the catcher where to go. I think Bo got a little flustered when he looked up. He never saw Jimmy pointing. Tried to find it himself, but you know, Jimmy just needs to go after this hitter, get this out, get him out of the inning.
High breaking ball.
Yeah, no, Andrew Campbell recently just went over with Logan Wade, I believe, to the CPBL in Taiwan for their home run derby, and he actually won it, which is quite impressive.
So you don't want to leave one
he's
hanging for Andrew Campbell, do you?
Soupy as he's known in Brisbane.
Why Soupy? Do we know why?
Campbell soup, mate.
Oh yeah. Come on, Hugh.
Stay hot, Hugh.
You're better than that, Hugh.
Yeah,
I was trying to catch you out with another itchy situation.
Yeah.
2-1, Campbell finds himself. That one is high and wide from Boyce. The count goes to 3-1. With a 4-1 lead and a runner on third. Doesn't want to let this man get on base for free, does he, Ricky?
No, he doesn't. He just needs to take a deep breath, keep that ball low in the zone. And
that's caught on the full by Chris Richards. Chris Richards making some plays out there. And the side is retired. Boyce maintains that 4-1 lead for the Tuatara.
When your clients say do it fast, but keep it quiet, there is an easy solution. The Makita 18-volt X2 brushless 6-speed blower. Using Makita LXT batteries that power the world's largest 18-volt power tool range. Makita, one battery, one platform, one solution.
The Auckland Tuatara lead over the 3-time back-to-back champions of the ABL, the Brisbane Bandits. Of course, today's game and Sunday's game on YouTube. Tomorrow will be live and exclusive on Sky Sports in New Zealand and able to be watched in Australia as well, various outlets. We'll be up in the tower tomorrow.
Yeah, we will. We'll have a better perspective on the game. Be actually able to see the majority of the field.
A few more cameras as well with Sky Sport crew here, the world-class crew from Sky Sport.
Can you tell me, Hugh, this Sky Sport coverage, is it going to be streamed as well, or is it just on Sky Sport?
In New Zealand, it'll be exclusively on Sky Sport. In Australia, I think ABL TV might be picking it up.
Awesome. Just for the folks at home across the ditch?
Yes. See your Bandits play, or any Kiwis over there. There's a fair few. You were one of them, Ricky, at one point.
Yeah, I think it was the first year.
Daniel Lamhunt watches that one go wide and lets it go for a ball. Ryan Searle's still out there.
Actually, a little bit nostalgic having these Bandits boys come over. I grew up playing with probably about a third of the team and half the coaching staff. And then a couple of parents.
It goes foul.
Goofy Sutherland's parents showed up as well. I believe David Sutherland's wife won a couple of tickets to come over and see the series, so that was quite a buzz. But the beauty of New Zealand only being a 3-hour plane trip from the East Coast, Perth, maybe not so much.
Lamhunt at the play, and he gets hold of that one. It's going to out into centre right. It's going to take a bounce before it reaches Andrew Campbell, and Daniel Lamhunt has himself a lead-off single. Max Brown up next, followed by Chris Richards.
If you look at the box score here, I mean, this is how baseball usually tells you the story. Bandits are 3 hits, 1 error and 1 run. Auckland 8 hits and no errors, and holding a 4-1 lead.
Max Brown at the plate, 1 for 2 so far today.
I've been eagerly waiting to see Maxie put down a bunt since he started with the Tuatara. Just knowing the wheels that he's got, just be nice to see him show other teams what he's capable of and have them, plan for that bunt and take away that deep hit to the left side.
Gets hold of that one, but it's gone foul down the right field line. Finds himself in an 0-2 hole. Tuatara with no out in the bottom of the 5th and a 4-1 lead. Daniel Lamhunt, the runner at first. Searle about to throw his 67th pitch of the day. Daniel Lamhunt goes searching down low, and he beats out the throw at first base with a bit of hustle.
Is that Spider-Man legs, man? He gets up that line quickly.
Max Brown, that was. Yeah, Daniel Lamhunt out at second there. Max Brown beats out the throw at first. Get himself on base. And up steps Chris Richards, having a fine game with the glove. Easy steal, second base in the end for Max Brown. The ball was dropped by Daniel Delicau behind the plate. Runner in scoring position. Zach Clark on deck for the Tuatara. Chris Richards watches the 1-0 pitch. Go just a little bit outside, and the count go to 2-0. Chris Richards, I imagine Ricky, knowing him personally, will be one of the more enthusiastic members of the locker room. A real bright spark, tends to be, does Chris?
Yeah, it's interesting you say that, because one would imagine so, but being that he's actually the grandfather of the club, you know, you got all these 19, 20, 21-year-old ball players. He's actually quite laid back from what I've seen so far. But I guess maturity comes with old age, doesn't it?
So they say. Two won the count, and he has cracked that one, but he's cracked it straight to Shu Chi Hung.
It's 2 hard hit balls over to the third baseman now, and it's exactly why they call it the hot corner. You're the closest infielder to the hitter, other than the pitcher.
You've got to be on your toes there, don't you?
Oh, yes, you do.
Zach Clark steps up for the Tuatara. 0 for 2 today, 313 average for the season with an RBI. He swings at the first pitch. .72 pitches so far for Ryan Searle, Ricky. 54 strikes, 18 balls.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I mean, he's given up a few hits, but he's shown that he can make that transition into starting pitching. He's shown good composure, and you know,
Brown goes to steal third.
He's really tapering himself well.
Pops it foul. So Brown will trudge his way back to second base. Looking aggressive, running the bases out of the Auckland Tuatara so far.
It's good to see the coaching staff there. You know, got a 3-run lead. Why not force the issue?
Oh, and 2 the count. Searle to Clark. As a wee look to see what Brown's up to. Clark gets a hold of it, but he hits it straight to shortstop TJ Bennett. And makes the play to first baseman David Sutherland. The side is retired. We finished the 5th inning with the Auckland Tuatara maintaining a 4-1 lead in their first home game in ABL history. The first game to be played outside Australia in ABL history, and of course the first professional baseball game ever on New Zealand soil. A truly historic day in Te Atatu of West Auckland. And so far the Tuatara are playing ball and giving the fans what they want to see, the first win of the season.
Fast, tough, and zero emissions. When you need to do some serious trimming, you need the Makita 18-volt X2 hedge trimmer. Makita LXT batteries that power the world's largest 18-volt power tool range. Makita, one battery, one platform, one solution.
Return to Te Atu. Quick change in commentary. I'll leave you in the capable hands of Ricky Pawai with Scott Campbell to join soon.
Thanks, Hugh. Appreciate it, mate. And fouled back there by TJ Bennett. TJ swings and puts one on the ground in between second and short to get himself on base to lead off. So shortly we'll be joined by Scott Campbell, who is a long-time representative New Zealand ball player. Spent a lot of time in the Toronto Blue Jays organisation and is a AAA All-Star for that organisation. The third baseman, Xu, steps up the plate, takes first pitch for a ball. Looking to get the Brisbane Bats started out. Yeah, it's 3 balls for Xu. And Jimmy able to bring it back into the strike zone to get himself a strike. That foul back there brings us to a full count. Only just coming up on an hour and 40 minutes into the game. Cruising through the 6 innings. Still no shortage of action. And Luke Hansen able to get the out at 1. That moves Bennett onto 2 and brings Wade Dutton up to the plate. Wade struck out swinging last time. Up bat. Look to get his first knock for the game. Jimmy's starting to miss the zone a bit now. He's getting almost at 80 pitches. Still with a almost 50%, or sorry, 2/3 strikes to ball ratio. An excellent showing from him in the first ever professional baseball game here New Zealand. Big swing by Wade, looks to be feeling foul at the right field line. Be up in the tailgate party, where, as we said before, there's about 7 or 8 Ford Ranger trucks, brand new there. Hopefully they got insurance. You count 1-on-1, Jimmy Cohen set. Count goes to 3-1. I wouldn't be surprised if Jimmy pitches around Wade to fill up that open spot at first base. Give themselves a double play opportunity at first, second, and third. As he does. Not sure if we can get a shot of the bullpen. If there's any movement from the Tuatara relievers. Yep, starting to get a little bit of action going on in there. Looks like Elliot Johnson and the lefty Ryota Okamoto. Tell you what, folks, it's a lot more interesting with 2 of us here. We're still waiting on Scott Campbell to make his entrance. I apologise if I've put anyone to sleep, but I'm sure the baseball here is entertaining enough. It looks like Menzies going to his lefty. Excellent showing there by Jimmy Boyce for the historic first ever professional baseball game to be played here in New Zealand. The beautiful McLeod Park here in Te Atatu South in Auckland. The temporary home of the Auckland Tuatara.
Low noise, no leads, just tough solutions and grunt. The Makita 18-volt X2 LXT brushless 2-speed line trimmer. Using Makita LXT batteries that power the world's largest 18-volt power tool range. Makita, one battery, one platform, one solution. Quiet, safe, and tough. The new Makita 18-inch metal deck lawnmower gives you the performance without the hassle of gas. Using Makita LXT batteries that power the world's largest 18-volt power tool range. Makita, one battery, one platform, one solution.
And we're back. The Auckland Tuatara with their first pitching change of the game. Out is Jimmy Boyce, who's pitched an absolute stellar start, giving up only 4 hits, 1 run. And in comes number 40, Ryota Okamoto. little bit of background here on Ryota. It doesn't look like it, unfortunately. I'm sure he'll give us enough in these next few innings. As Donald Lutz steps up to the plate. First pitch, a breaking ball for a ball to Lutz. And he gets him swinging on the same pitch to go 1-1. Runners on first and second, 1 out. In the top of the 6, Auckland Tuatara 4 and Brisbane 1. Looks to be that the Tuatara are playing a bit of a shift on Lutz. Lutz being a typical pull hitter. Missing just inside with a fastball. Two balls, one strike for Lutz. As Okamuto sets. Sweeping, breaking ball. Swung on and fouled back. Brings the count 2-2. Hard for me to tell you, but I believe that might be local Japanese player Ryota Okamuto here now living in New Zealand as one of the train-on squad players. One of the more veteran pitchers here in the Auckland League, Ryota. Not afraid to throw his vast variety of off-speed pitches in any count. Full count for Donald Lutz. Runners on first and second, 1 out. Gets him with a high breaking pitch. I think he fooled Lutz there. Ball not breaking quite as much as the previous 3. That brings us to 2 out. Top of the 6th. Up to bat, David Sutherland. Ground ball to third base last at bat. Walked the previous. Be looking to score one or two of these runs this inning. Starts him off with another sweeping breaking ball. Sutherland leading the league with home runs and RBIs, along with Andrew Soupy Campbell, with 2 home runs last series, one of them of which was only 15-20 feet off the ground. That's a high pop-up in the infield. Chris Richards under it and makes a catch to retire the side. So Ryota comes in and gets the Tuatara out of the inning unhurt, no runs. And welcome everybody back to the first ever professional baseball game in New Zealand between the Auckland Tuatara and the Brisbane Bandits. Currently, Tuatara are sitting 4 runs, Brisbane 1, the bottom of the 6th. I'd like to welcome Scott Campbell to the mic. We've given you a little bit of an intro already, mate, and we couldn't find you, but you've made your way to our little cube here.
Sorry for the delay.
Not a problem, not a problem. You've been watching the game out in the stands?
Absolutely. It's been a beautiful day out there, and the fact that we're up 4-1 makes it even better.
It does, it does. What's your first take on the team, seeing them live and out here?
Oh, look, it's great to see some of the boys that obviously played with in the past. Max Brown, and yeah, it's fantastic seeing Lammy over there. Obviously, is one of my partners on the left side of the diamond. So, yeah, look, it's been a good start to this game.
Now tell me, does it give you the itch?
You know how it is, mate. It always gives you the itch.
All right, we have Zhu, aka Ichi, up to bat to lead off the bottom of the 6th for the Tuatara. Takes ball 1 inside. So Scott Campbell, an inaugural member for the Diamond Blacks back in 2012's WBC qualifying campaign. What do you think of this kid, man?
Yeah, he's been quite interesting to watch. Obviously, he's. I thought he was going to be pulling the ball more, but he's been hitting the ball the other way and letting it get deep in the zone. It's pretty interesting to watch. I mean, yeah, I think he's going to do some pretty good things for this team.
Yeah, we talked about it earlier. Watching him last week, the way that he goes with the pitch on everything that he's swung at so far.
Yeah, I wonder if Brisbane are going to stop pulling him like they were in the first and the third. So
yeah. So we've also got a pitching change for the Bandits. We've got Lynn Cochen, number 37, with a 9 ERA so far this season.
I'll tell you what's been nice is seeing Andrew Mark out there. His first at bat, taking it deep to right field, moving the guy over. That was pretty impressive.
Yeah, we spoke about it earlier. He was over.
And now he's on again. Makes
contact again, gets the ball through the infield, and sits on first base. We'll see if that was awarded a base hit or not. But Coach Steve Mintz gave him, after that warm-up series, gave him the weekend off on the next series, said go home, quiet down your swing, and stop trying to do too much with the baseball. And he's definitely come out and made those adjustments and shown that he's got that hand-eye ability that we know he's got. And I mean, he's hit 3 hard balls now in this game, and showing that he deserves to be on this team. I
and it's good to see a Kiwi boy doing it. He was a pitcher obviously previously. Whether or not we see him on the mound, I guess that's yet to be seen. But yeah, like I said, he's had a couple of good at-bats for us today.
So it was an error. Unfortunately, we weren't able to see it for Andrew Mark. And we've got Bo Bishop up to plate. He's already taken 1 ball.
It looks like it's going to sneak through. And a nice first to third from Andrew Mark, hey?
Excellent.
Still got the wheels.
I don't know if you can call them wheels, but I'll tell you what, he definitely gives it 110% effort with everything that he does. It's good to see Bo as well getting himself a base hit. He bunted the last at bat with the runners on first and second.
I think that's been what's been quite impressive about this game is we haven't really had any, big hits or any home runs or any, doubles for RBIs or anything. It's been small ball, get a guy on, get him over. And, if we can play baseball like that for the rest of the season.
Yeah, and that's key with teams like this, especially when you're starting out. I mean, this isn't a hitter's field in terms of home runs. I mean, we've got about 410, 420 in center field. Left field's about 380. Got a short porch and right. But, the first couple of games in the series in Perth, Steve Mintz was mentioning that the boys just looked a little too excited, like they're trying to do too much. Now they've calmed down, playing baseball the way that they know they can.
I think being home's really important, and they haven't really had that opportunity to all be in the same location for very long. So being back here is a big step, and having the home crowd, it's exciting, but they're kind of settled in, like you said.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, we've seen their clubhouse banter and camaraderie, and they've really started to gel well together. So we got Luke Hansen up to plate now. 1 ball, 1 strike. He had a 1 base RBI last at bat.
I think he's been the most impressive guy I've seen on this roster so far, and yeah, obviously I've known Luke since he was little and first started playing. And coached him. So to see him out there at second and doing the small things, but also putting the ball in play and getting good hits and getting the first RBI during the preseason, he's been impressive.
One of the things I like the most about Luke and the experience I've had with him over the past 5 or 6 years is his resilience when it comes to making his mistakes and then getting back on the horse and just doing what he's got to do. We saw in the series last week as he strikes out there. He made a few errors and it cost him a few runs, but instead of getting himself down, he just did the work he had to do to improve himself, and he's done that for myself in the Under-21s World Cup. And I mean, that's probably the biggest credit for that kid.
Yeah, and that's part and parcel of experience and playing a little more and, learning that stuff. And it's hard to learn, but yeah, hopefully he can take it into the rest of the season.
Yeah. We got Eric Jenkins up to bat now. The lefty coming into the game with a 400 plus average, 421.
And obviously, look, he's been a table setter for this roster, and I think he will be for the rest of the time he's here. So yeah, he's exciting to watch.
Yeah, definitely. He base hit the first pitch of the first game that was played on New Zealand soil. So the right man to have in the spot. As he swings at another breaking ball.
Yeah, I think the most impressive thing with him is, you put the ball in play, he's got a really good chance of, getting on base. And that puts a lot of pressure on defense and pitching rosters. And that plays big over a long series.
Definitely, and it was a little disappointing with he hit into a double play with Luke Hansen on base last inning, and Luke had his hands in the air and they called interference, and he would have easily been safe at first, unfortunately, but the kid can definitely move.
Yeah, I don't know if I agree with the call, but we'll leave it at that.
Yeah, we've said our piece already, but that's baseball, and we move on. Still plenty more innings to go.
Absolutely. It'd be good to get another knock right here, get another run in, make the game 5-1 like it should be.
As Lynn drops a 12-6 breaking ball in there for a strike to bring the count 1-2. Tuatara with 2 out, the bottom of the 6th, runner on first and third. I really enjoy seeing these days with professional ball players, especially in the big leagues, as they starting to choke up again. I mean, one of the best hitters in the game used to do it all the time. Barry Bonds would choke right up on the bat, but the draw that the home run brings into hitters and especially young players, whereas now they're understanding that you get your 2 strikes on you, you don't get cheated on the inside, you make sure that you can get that bat to the ball and protect that plate. We got weak ground ball to the shortstop, who makes the play and retires a side. For you yourself, when you see stuff like that, is that something that builds confidence, either as a coach or as a fan, to know that you've got mature hitters in your lineup?
Yeah, absolutely. The game's changed a lot, right? Back in like you said, Bonds, I guess in the steroid era, so to speak, that was less warranted. But now it is about bunting. It is about putting the ball in play and you using one of the tools that a guy like Eric Jenkins has, which is his legs. And so I think seeing guys change their approach at the plate and like you said, let the ball get deep. Don't get cheated on the inside, put the ball in play, not let the other opposing pitcher get a strikeout, changes the way that the other team has to pitch to you. And it changes the way that the pitching staff is going to be consumed over a 4-game series, which, for a lot of fans, they may not understand how that works, and that becomes a really big thing in Game 3 and Game 4.
Mm-hmm. I think the other thing with that too is, I mean, with the ABL, you're always trying to blood your players that are your local players, so, your development squad. And for them to watch some more veteran guys go up there and do stuff like that, it makes it more appealing, or makes it easier for them to make those adjustments, whereas before they're more wanting to impress the scouts or impress the girls or impress the fans and whatnot. And I think that's a huge thing that Eric Jenkins is going to bring to the table, as well as that leadership and give those kids something to look up to and to learn from.
Yeah, and hopefully, between innings or downtime in the clubhouse, they're talking to him about the approach that he's using because they saw him do something, and that's something that they learn, and then they obviously can talk to other guys about. And hitting is as much mental as it is physical, particularly over a long season. So yeah, if they can learn and get better day by day, then that's a fantastic outcome for the Bandits. For the Tuatara and also for New Zealand baseball.
Yes, definitely. And we got a pitching change for the Tuatara. One of the rookies, Auckland-based Elliot Johnston. He is a right-handed 19-year-old pitcher. I think he actually might be 20 now. sits high 80s, low 90s, and has really come a long way in the last couple of years from what I've seen him. He was this kid that just kind of got out there and did whatever he could do as a junior, and then all of a sudden realised that if he worked a little harder that he was capable of much more, and we're starting to see that now.
Yeah, he comes from a family of baseball players. His two older brothers obviously played as well, helped peppering a player like myself, growing up. So I used to coach Elliot and his brothers as well. So yeah, it's this is a good spot for him right here. Hopefully he can give Mincy what he wants, which will be 3 quick outs and get the guys back into the dugout for the 8th.
Definitely. Now the 3 hitters to lead off for the Bandits is Bryan Battaglia, also known as Buff, playing out in right field at the moment. I've only ever seen him as a catcher, so it's been good to see the versatility of some of these Bandits players. Then Daniel Nilsson and De La Salle. This is something that the Bandits have had these last 3 years where they've won these championships, is there's no weak link in their lineup. Last year, Wade Dutton, probably one of the best hitters in the league, was hitting anywhere from 7 to 9. As a pitcher, that's really got to play with your mind.
Yeah, I think it's what it does to any roster is makes you realize that there is no week out, there is no spot that you can't pitch carefully and just go in there and throw 3 fastballs and get a guy out. That doesn't exist.
Johnston getting in there 1-on-1, bounces a breaking ball in the dirt. Yes, so it's
yeah, this is going to be a big batter for Elliot right here to see if he can settle in, find the zone and actually just put the ball in play, not do too much.
Yeah. He delivers, letting that one go a little bit, and that'll be the nerves getting to him. Now if he can come back, bring the ball back into the strike zone, make the hitter do what he wants him to, which is swing the bat, and let the fielders take control for him.
Yeah, that's a tough first batter for Elliot, but hopefully, yep. As I thought might happen, we're going to get a little bit of a mound visit and a little bit of a settle down moment here. And I guess we can't underestimate, the pressure that is on a young guy who's never really been in a position like this before. There's probably 1,000 people around the park, if not more today. He's probably never really had that before. It looks like Cole Yee on the mound. Long-time New Zealand baseball coach as well.
Yeah, Cola's ex-CPBL or Taiwanese professional ball player, and spent a bit of time with the LA Dodgers. He now is back in the CPBL as the brothers' pitching coach, and has come back down to help the Tuatara with their pitching staff. And he would have just gone out to slow him down a little bit, calm him down, just saying, all right, that one's done. Yeah. Once you go out, get yourself a ground ball, get yourself 2 outs.
Absolutely.
Battaglia on first, Daniel Nilsson at the plate, delivers,
there we go.
Starts him off with a strike.
Yeah, there's some really good experience on this team, and Bo's been around a long enough time to help him settle in as a catcher as well. It doesn't necessarily need to be the coach. Good. And
he's definitely showing that he's calmed himself down now. That's what I talked about it earlier with Tueta, with Bo Bishop. For myself personally, it was one of my favourite catches to throw to, because he used to be so wide, but he builds that confidence in a pitcher to be able to throw the ball where you want to throw it. I know a couple have gotten away from him today, but Bo's probably knows these pitchers more than anyone else around the traps, so it's great to have him out there today.
Yeah, and right here, Elliot needs to just stay relaxed, not necessarily hit the zone, keep it on the fringe, something off speed, maybe get a ground ball. Perfect.
Just takes the lead runner out at second with a 4 to 6 put out.
Maybe not. What's happened here?
This will be interesting. I don't think you'll see Steve Mintz let this one go.
Looks like we got the Daniel coming back to the plate. Maybe there was time called before, I'm not sure. Trying to make sense of that, not sure at all.
If he's going back to the plate, I'm confused as to why the runner is at second base then. Great pitch there by Johnston. Just a bit outside to go to 2-2.
Yeah, whatever happened just there, the fact that he's now there and there's been a ball put in play, he can't be put back. So, yeah.
I'm absolutely baffled right now. The fact that the Tuatara haven't come out to find out what was going on. Another pitch just missing inside to take full count. Daniel Nilsson at the plate. Daniel flew out to left field last at bat. Johnson got some work to do now. Ball's dropped in for a base hit. And they hold him at first. So no out, runners on first and third. That brings to the plate De La Salle, the catcher for the Bandits.
So this is a big spot right here for the Tuatara, first and third. You know, it's one of the defensive plays that you practice, obviously. You know, if the guy goes, you're going to throw him out, potentially give up a run, play for a double play, try and cut a runner off at the plate. You know, we're up by 3. Obviously, we're going for 2 outs versus a play at the plate. So, be interesting to see how we set this up defensively. I'm still baffled.
Yeah, I apologise for the dead air. I'm just trying to rack my brain as to what the possible circumstances for that play were. I guess we'll find out in a couple of hours. And a big swing there from De La Salle. Elliott gets himself ahead 0-1.
So what are you thinking here as a pitcher?
To be honest, I'm trying to throw strikes, keep it low in the zone, get the double play, forget about the runner on third, and get myself into a position where they can't score any more runs than that one.
Yeah, absolutely. We're in a spot now that we're playing for outs, not necessarily runs. You know, we're still up by 3. So we're happy to trade an out for a run in this situation.
So Elliott's done good quick work to go 0-2. And that ball finds the ground out in right field for a base hit. So De La Salle with another singled last at bat, and an RBI.
Yeah, now we're into a different defensive situation. No one on, runners on first and second. You got to expect potentially a bunt.
Yep.
You know, I don't know the Brisbane team well enough to know. Like we said, their total lineup is pretty stacked, so they may not necessarily want to go down that road.
Andrew Campbell up to bat. He's a lefty who can definitely move around the bases. So I mean, don't be surprised. But then again, he can also put the ball out over the fence. So you know, we'll see what the staff for the Bandits decide to do. Elliott just needs to get himself a couple of quick outs here as he sets. Ball high to start the at-bat.
The challenge here is now we've already had a mound visit in this inning, so you know, to get back out there is basically replacing him as a pitcher, so it does make it a little bit difficult. This is when a good middle infielder or catcher can really
I was going to
help set
say,
it
I
off.
think if he misses here, the catcher will go out and pay him a visit. And fouls that one back to go 1-1. Runners on first and second, nobody out. The score is Auckland Tuatara 4, the Brisbane Bandits 2. We've seen an excellent ball game from both sides today. Ryan Searle making that transition from a closer to starter. Went out and got himself some work today. Jimmy Boyce at the start of the game was supposed to only have a couple of innings and then the Josh Colmenter come in and replace him, but went out and showed that he wanted to stay there and didn't give the coach any reason to pull him.
Yeah, there we go, the boy Elliott. He certainly did a great job of getting through 6 innings.
6 innings.
Five and a third, and he certainly looked a little bit a little bit tired at the end of it, and that would just be, he probably hasn't had as many innings recently, but you know, fantastic to get 5 and a bit out of his starter.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Yeah, I spoke to him on Wednesday and he said that he has been just misses inside for ball 3 and bring us to a full count. Yeah, he's just said he's been doing some work on his drive leg, and it's because he hasn't been using it correctly. It's been tiring his arm out a little quicker than normal, and he hasn't pitched in a game for that many innings in a while. So it's all about building into the season and getting them to a position. And Campbell with a weak ground ball to first base.
Unfortunately, that kind of does the job for the Bandits and moves 2 runners over. This will be a very interesting spot to see what we do defensively here. You know, a ball into the outfield can tie this game very, very quickly.
It can, and it's a big outfield too. And it looks like Coach Mintz is going to his bullpen again.
Yeah,
and that's all going to be a big learning curve for Elliott. I mean, he's got to take away the positives from that and learn. Keep his head up.
Yeah, the key thing there is, you know, he did settle in a little bit. He did get, you know, the ball into the zone. Yeah, he got hit. That's going to happen. You know, this is a big spot for Cone here to come in from the bullpen. Another WBC guy.
Yep. He showed us last week in Perth that he can come in a position like this and actually do work and get those out. So with a heavily saturated left-handed lineup, I think this is their only move here.
Yeah, and that's the thing with, you know, the roster we have. Obviously, you know, limited left hands out of the pen, and obviously no lefties to start that I'm aware of at the moment. You know, I know that's been a bit of a concern from a franchise perspective going into the season. But yeah, Cone, even if we had 5 others, you know, knowing him well enough, he's the guy that you want to put into this spot.
Yep, definitely. We saw Ryota Okamoto. I went searching for his bio before without realizing he's the local North Shore Baseball Club, or North Shore City Baseball Club senior coach and veteran pitcher, which was good to see him get some work out there today.
Yeah.
Very crafty left-hander. He likes to throw a lot of off-speed stuff and, as we'd say, pitch backwards.
Yeah.
In a Japanese style kind of approach.
And I used to hate guys like that as a left-handed hitter. You know, it's you can deal with the fast and the guys that are, you know, going to kind of pitch the way that you expect them to. But a lefty who's, you know, kind of just comes in and just throws a little bit of everything, you can never really, you know, guess what he's going to throw. It's more instinctive hitting.
That's where we see the cultural crossovers, like Japan and Korea going to the US to play professional baseball and vice versa. We had Boss Monoroa who went to play professional baseball in Japan. I think it was last season, or our winter, their summer last season, and he struggled a lot. It was that whole their pitch sequence is so far different to the Western type of baseball that it's very hard for a power hitter and a pull hitter like himself to adjust to it.
Yeah, as I got up higher levels of, you know, particularly in AAA, when you're facing guys that are more experienced and, you know, are more confident with every pitch in their, you know, at their hand, then that's when being a hitter is a lot harder. You know, at the younger levels, you've got guys who you kind of know what they're going to throw and when.
Now, TJ Bennett steps up to the plate. Ben Cone to deliver his first pitch of the game. And it's in there for a strike with a slider.
Geez, that looked good.
It does indeed. And, I mean, to come out of the pen, throw an off-speed pitch, your first pitch with runners on second and third, just goes to show he's got confidence in his stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. See if he backs it up, which
he
he does. Yeah, that's pure confidence right there. And now as a hitter, you're going, wow, he's just thrown me two breaking balls. I'm 0-2, and I have no idea what his fastball looks like. That's a bit of a scary spot.
So no balls, 2 strikes. Do we see a fastball up and in here? We do.
Oh, that's lucky. Wow, I mean, you couldn't really do more as a pitcher in that spot than right there. I mean, you know, and credit, I guess, to Bennett. You know, he somehow got some bat to it. I wouldn't call it barrel, but he got it in play, and he's got himself an RBI.
And it's funny, I mean, even as a hitter, you know that pitch is coming. You've just seen 2 great sliders. You haven't seen his fastball. Doesn't matter if you know it's coming or not. It's still hard to hit.
Absolutely.
You know, you haven't seen it. But Ben Cone doing his job there. Unfortunately, TJ getting sawn off and managing to score the run to bring the score 4-3 Auckland versus Brisbane.
Yeah,
I think we got crossed up there.
Yeah, go have a chat. Make sure we know what we're throwing.
It's I'm a little curious. There's nobody on second base. Why they would be mixing signs, but perhaps they just want to be sure. It's 1 ball, no strikes for Chu Chi-hyung with a 2.78 batting average, 2 RBIs. He's currently 0 for 3 today with 2 strikeouts and a ground out. Another great pitch there by Cone.
One of the things I thought was interesting watching him at the plate last time is seeing how deep we were playing him on the on the right side of the infield. Hansen playing quite deep. I suspect he's doing the same thing at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good fastball up.
Yeah, after the great breaking ball, Cone goes upstairs to bring the count 1 and 2. Running on third base, 2 out, top of the 7th. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Shu.
That's a great pitch. Oh,
just missing outside. It's sometimes hard. I catch myself being a player or a coach and getting that kind of emotion whilst on the mic.
I still get really excited. And I won't apologize for it.
Tried to overthrow that one by the looks of things and brings the count full for Shu. Ben Cone, who relieved Elliot Johnston, the young 19-year-old from Pakwaranga, making his debut here in Auckland.
Yeah, that's a great job by Cone.
Cone comes in and does exactly what he's been asked to do. Unfortunately, gives up that 1 run. Nothing he could do about that. But the Auckland Tuatara remain ahead by 1 run, 4-3 in the bottom of the 7th. And welcome back, everybody, on the international YouTube live stream here in Auckland, McLeod Park, Te Aratu, for the first ever game of professional baseball here in New Zealand between the Auckland Tuatara and the Brisbane Bandits. We are halfway through the 7th inning now. We just had the 7th inning stretch, and actually surprised to hear a lot of the fans out there singing along.
Yeah, look, for those who obviously know the game, it's pretty much it's a pastime. It's been around for a very, very long time. It's always good to see.
Yeah, definitely. I know there was a team, I can't remember which series it was last week in the ABL. They actually played something different. And
sacrilege.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of the fans were too impressed. But hey, if you're trying to start your own tradition, go ahead, do your thing. The score: Auckland Tuatara 4, Brisbane Bandits 3. And first up to bat, we have Daniel Lamb Hunt, the third baseman.
Yeah, I'd like to see him, start getting it going here. He's obviously 2 for 3 today, but he's got the potential to really drive a ball a long way, and it would be great to see something, go deep into the outfield here with him.
Yeah, Lemmy, watching him last week and the week before.
And on cue.
Hard hit ball out to right field. Looks like it's been caught.
Yeah, you can't be mad about that as a hitter, I guess. It's part of the game, and sometimes you're going to get out and you hit the ball hard, and sometimes you're not going to hit it well and you're going to get a hit. But
yeah, no, Lemmy was one of those guys I think was just trying to do too much these last couple of series, the pre-season series and the series in Perth. And seeing him at the plate today, he's had a couple of hard hit balls and doing really, really well in making those adjustments. It brings to the plate the speedster, Max Brown, the lanky speedster.
Yeah, that's the interesting thing about Max. He's in the 3-hole today, and he's still not afraid to show a little bit of bat and make that third baseman think.
I think that's the 3rd time he showed first pitch bunt, and he takes it for a strike. Brings the count 0-1. Lynn delivers another fastball, misses low. We go 1-1. Yeah, I'm surprised we haven't actually seen Max put down any bunts today. He has been in position a couple of times to do so, but just letting the other team know that it's there. Lynn delivers like a change-up, missing inside.
I'm sure we'll all take another triple, but he's certainly one of those guys, like you said. He's a lanky runner, but man, he moves, and he doesn't look like he's moving quickly, but he certainly is.
And that's the thing, he looks like he runs very flat-footed off his heels, but man, he powers along. Swings at the 4th pitch of the at-bat and safe.
He reckon he beat that.
No, they've called him out. It'd be nice to have the replay system in the ABL sometime in the near future. Fortunately, it just means more money.
Yeah.
And more personnel for the league.
I guess that's exactly what we were talking about Max, though. You know, that wasn't necessarily the hardest ball that you'd ever see hit, but, you know, as a shortstop, you think you've got a moment to make that throw, and that was really close. Whether it was out or safe, I guess that's left to debate, but yeah, that's the type of guy you want, you know, at the top of your lineup, even in the 3-hole. He's putting pressure on that defense. They're going to remember that, and that shortstop will remember that for the next time.
Yeah, and we got up to bat is Chris Richards, the shortstop. Today, he's gone 1 for 3. Hard hit ball for that base hit. He got a double with an RBI. And he's definitely one that surprised a few people. He's been coaching now for quite a few years. He still plays on occasion, but has come into this team more as a pitcher and has shown he can swing the bat.
And now he's in the 4-hole and playing shortstop.
Yeah. As he takes the pitch low to go 1-1.
Yeah, I must admit I haven't seen him play before, and yeah, no, watching a little bit of the game last week and seeing him play today, yeah, I've been pretty impressed just with the way he reads the game out there at short.
He's definitely one of those baseball minds, which is definitely an advantage to have on the team when you're starting out. You got a lot of fresh players that haven't played professional baseball before, don't quite understand the intricacies that come with professional baseball that are very different from playing club baseball or just national baseball. I did see him, watching him take his cuts against the sidearm sub pitcher from Perth last week. I think he took the first 2 pitches were sliders in the high 80s, and I mean, seeing something like that's got to be tough, but to see him come back this week and actually put some really good swings on the baseball, he looks comfortable up there in the 4-hole.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just about to say he looks really comfortable. He's not, you know, he's not swinging overly hard. He's just, you know, trying to get bat on ball, and he seems like he's taking the pitches he wants to take, and he's, you know, swinging at the ones he wants. Obviously a little bit tougher with 2 strikes, but you know, full count here. Let's see, you know, what he gets. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a walk or a hit. It might have been a little bit higher than he would like.
And third baseman makes the throw to first to retire the side. So that brings us to the top of the 8th inning. Auckland still maintain a 1-run lead. Auckland Tuatara 4, Brisbane Bandits 3. I'd like to thank Scott Campbell for coming and joining us for a quick chat. Obviously a wealth of knowledge in the baseball scene. You know, getting all the way to the AAA with the Toronto Blue Jays and becoming a AAA All-Star with the organization. Unfortunately, had to cut his career short due to a couple of hip surgeries. But really good to see him here. Ben Cohn to come back out and continue on. And up to bat we have Wade Dutton. Wade currently 0 for 2 in this game with a walk. Cohn delivers, missing just a little low to bring it 0 and 2. Pitch is high. 3 balls, no strikes. I'd like to say a big shout out to everybody tuning in on YouTube, either in Australia, New Zealand, or anywhere else in the world, for this historic event, which is the first ever professional baseball game to be played in New Zealand and the first ever ABL game to be played outside of Australia. Cone the count 3-1 and misses just low to walk Dutton for a second consecutive walk. That brings to bat number 5, the designated hitter, Donald Lutz. Big league experience, WBC experience for Deutschland, Germany, and has been around with the Bandits for quite some time now. Cone sets, runner on 1. That ball's been hit hard and high. Outfielder going back, makes the catch, make the first out of the inning. Ben Cone doing exactly what he needs to do for this Tuatara team. Throw strikes, make outs. Top of the 8th, 1 out. Auckland 4, Brisbane 3. It brings to the plate David Sutherland, the first baseman for the Bandits. The throw down from Bo Bishop gets him at second base as Wade Dutton tries to steal second. Bo threw out a couple last week as well in Perth, just showing that he is not playing games here. He is here and he means business. So Cone 0-1 with the delivery. Sutherland drives it to center field. Jenkins is back and makes the catch. That's 3 up, 3 down for the Auckland Tuatara. Scott Cone making quick work of the Bandits there to take us into the bottom of the 8th inning and maintaining a 1-run lead for the Auckland Tuatara here at McLeod Park, Te Atatu. Welcome back to the bottom of the 8th inning of our first game of the series between the Auckland Tuatara and the Brisbane Bandits. Auckland up 4-3, and up first is going to be Zach Clark, our left fielder. Then Zhu, or as he's known in the clubhouse, Ichi, and Andrew Mark to follow him. They are the first 3 up in the order as the Tuatara try and tack on a couple more runs to give themselves a buffer going into the 9th inning. Had ourselves an amazing game of baseball here so far as the historic event, which is the first ever professional baseball game to be played here in New Zealand and the first ever ABL game to have taken place outside of Australia, as they have extended the league to 2 extra teams. Looks like Bollinger on the mound for the Bandits as he goes out, gets himself a quick strike to start the inning. Comes set and delivers. Breaking ball in there for strike 2. Bollinger, I believe, got himself some big league time this year. Lefty throwing mid to high 90s with some good breaking stuff. Good to see him back down the ABL, getting his work in and showing that this league is not just for play. These teams are serious and they are here to show that they have talent. Zach Clark steps in. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Misses high with the fastball. Got ourselves a pretty decent crowd here today in New Zealand. Te Atatū South, the temporary home of the permanent team, the Auckland Tuatara, who will be, as of next year, based in North Harbour Stadium up in Albany. Bollinger blows it by Zach Clark there to record the strikeout and bring to the plate Zhu Ichi Rian. And 1 out for the Auckland Tuatara. Big breaking ball there by Bollinger for strike 1. I tell you what, it's got to be tough to hit when you're facing a big lefty like Bollinger. Throws as hard as he does, and he can throw that big sweeping breaking ball whenever he wants. Zhu currently hitting .355 with 4 RBIs. He's 2 for 3 for the day, showing that he can work the ball all the way around the field. Unfortunately goes down there looking. Bollinger recording a 2nd strikeout. Here's the story of the day. Andrew Pinky Mark steps into the plate. Got himself a hit. On base with an error and a fly to left field. Making good contact on all 3 at-bats so far. Bollinger making quick work of him though, getting ahead 0-1. Missing a little bit high and outside with that breaking ball. It's to 1-1. 2 out for the Tuatara. Looking to start a rally here. And misses inside. 2-1. Last inning saw the Bandits get a couple runs in. Tuatara able to maintain their lead, however. Andrew Mark popping up to the shortstop. Weak fly ball, and Bollinger retires the side in order. And that's going to take us into the 9th inning of this historic match here at Te Atatū South McLeod Park between the Brisbane Bandits and the Auckland Tuatara.
Transform your garden with the Makita 18-volt X2 LXC brushless multifunction power head with a wide range of attachments to tackle the toughest jobs. Using Makita
Welcome everybody back to the 9th inning of the first game in the 4-game series between the Brisbane Bandits and the Auckland Tuatara. The score currently sits Brisbane 3 runs to Auckland's 4 as we step into the 9th inning. We have a pitching change on the mound for the Tuatara as we see Yuki Harada in to pitch. I've just stepped outside the cubicle that I'm sitting in as we commentate, and it looks to be well over 1,000 people here at McLeod Park for this historic event. I'd be interested to know exactly what the numbers are at the gate. Hopefully we can get them for you before we finish our broadcast. The first 3 hitters to come to the plate for the Bandits will be Bryan Battaglia, who is playing right field, Daniel Nilsson, and then the catcher, De La Salle. Here we go, got a look at the crowd there. In the stands, it looks like up left field line. And we have a little bit more than that over in the right field lines. And then our general admission seats, which are out behind home fence and the kiddie playgrounds and blow-ups. There seems to be quite a lot of people, so really good turnout here for the Auckland Tuatara as they play their first ever professional baseball game here in New Zealand. Yuki will step to the rubber and face Bryan Battaglia at the top of the 9th, and he starts him off the fastball for a strike. Bryan Battaglia, a long-serving member of the Brisbane Bandits and the Queensland baseball national teams ever since he was a junior at 12 years old, 11 years old. Played professionally with the Indians, I believe, as a catcher. As Yuki gets him swinging and chasing there with an extremely good slider. Just see if I can pull up some background information on Yuki. As he deals 1 and 2, misses outside for a ball, brings the count to 2-2 against Bryan Battaglia. I'd imagine Coach Steve Mintz would be extremely pleased to see this inning go down without a hitch. Ooh, looks like a ground ball off the end of the bat from Battaglia. Chris Richards able to make the adjustment and get the out at first, and it's 1 out for the Auckland Tuatara. Up to the plate now, Daniel Nilsson. And Yuki delivers first pitch for a strike. Daniel got himself a single last at bat. And he swings and misses for strike number 2 as Yuki makes quick work of Daniel Nilsson. Daniel with a .286 batting average this season, currently 1 for 3 in this series. Another ground ball to shortstop Richards. Collects it cleanly and records the second out of the inning as we look to be going to the final out of the game with 2 out. Top of the 9th inning, the Tuatara up by 1 run. I'll tell you what, it would only be fitting that the Tuatara managed to record their first ever professional win in the ABL here at home in their first ever home game. De La Salle buckled by the breaking ball delivered by Yuki for strike number 1. Yuki sets, it's a sign. And a swing and a miss to go 0-2. I'd imagine we'd see the crowd all on their feet they look to record the third out of the inning and the final out of the game and the historic first ever professional baseball game here in New Zealand. Yuki overthrowing that breaking ball just a little bit there. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 out. Starting to hear the crowd going now. I tell you what, it was definitely a question we had as to whether we would get the crowds, whether we'd have the interest, and whether we'd have the fans in the stands in the 9th inning. Still showing interest and still getting into the game. As Yuki sets, 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 out. Delivers and misses outside with the fastball. Starting to hear some heckling from the fans now. So Danny De La Salle, the catcher, hitting .462 with 1 home run and 2 RBIs so far this season. Hits that ball hard to right field. And it drops in there for a hit as De La Salle goes to second base. Excellent job there by the catcher to keep this game alive. Bandits looking to tie it up, scoring that run in from second and forcing the Tuatara to score themselves a run in the bottom of the 9th. That brings us to the top of the order with Andrew Soupy Campbell coming to the plate. Campbell's currently got 1 hit, 1 run for the day. Tuatara looking to record that final out of the game and that first win recorded here at home. Looks like he misses just outside for ball 1. As Yuki sets. The wild pitch as that breaking ball gets away from him. Fairly common with situations like this, and everything's riding on that final out. Things start to go a little haywire. Hopefully Bo Bishop can calm him down, get him settled, and find himself a way to record that third out without scoring that run from third. No doubt we'll see a lot of white jerseys and pants run out in the field if he manages to do so. Looks like a couple of them creeping up there already. Eager with anticipation. The 2 balls, no strikes. And he misses low for ball number 3. Harada making quick work of the first 2 outs of the inning. Starting to struggle now. 3-0. And he misses high. Walks Andrew Campbell. Brings to the plate TJ Bennett. He's a couple of base hits today. A double with an RBI as well as a single last at bat. See what he can do here. Harada with a little bit of work ahead of him now to keep the Tuatara in good position. Parata sets. And that ball gets away from catcher Tueta Bishop. And the Bandits manage to tie up the game with a pass ball. Not what the Tuatara would have been hoping for, unfortunately, but they're still in this game, most certainly. The one ball, no strikes as he delivers. Bennett fouls it back. We'll make it 1-1. For anyone that's just tuned in, the Tuatara are playing their first ever professional baseball home game in New Zealand. Bennett swings at the breaking pitch and fouls it straight back. It is also the first ever ABL game to be played outside of Australia. Geelong Korea, the other expansion team, recording their first win of the season last night in spectacular fashion from what I saw. Tuatara trying to do the same thing. Hard hit ball out to center field and caught by Eric Jenkins. So we go to the bottom of the ninth. The Bandits come back with 1 run in the top to tie things up and force the Tuatara to swing the bats to get themselves that first win.
Okay.
Transform your garden with the Makita 18-volt X2 LXT brushless multifunction power head. With a wide range of...
And welcome back, everyone, to the first game of a 4-game series here in New Zealand. Te Atatu South at McLeod Park, the temporary home of the permanent team, the Auckland Tuatara, their first ever season here in the ABL and their first ever home game on New Zealand soil. The Bandits managing to score themselves a run the last half of the inning with a pass ball by the Tuatara to tie the game up and take away that fairy tale ending that the Tuatara would have been looking for. We'll see if they can't get themselves a walk-off win with these bats that have been extremely, extremely hot today in this beautiful Friday afternoon / evening. Pitching change for the Bandits. Looks like Matthew Timms is now on the mound. Another long-serving member of the Brisbane Bandits organization. Deals and misses first pitch inside for a ball. First hitter for your Auckland Tuatara is Tueta Bishop. He'll catch a big swing at the second pitch. Brings the count 1-1. Bo, a long-serving member of the New Zealand national team, both WBC qualifying campaigns, as well as the Under-21 World Cup in 2014 in Taiwan. Bo currently resides in Adelaide with his And it's ball number 2 with his family, where he now plays baseball year-round. Matthew Timms looking to hold the Tuatara out to take this to extra innings. Hard hit, line drive to right field as Bo Bishop with the single to lead things off here in the bottom of the 9th. Bo been working extremely hard on his swing. He's not had any issues as a catcher. And it looks like we're going to see Eton Laird, one of the development players for the Auckland Tuatara. Eton runs a 6'7", 6'8", 60, so that it'll be why they put him on the bases. Good to see the 19-year-old New Zealand representative get himself some game time. Be interesting to see what Steve Mintz, the head coach, the manager for the Auckland Tuatara, decides to do. And there we have our answer. As Luke squares around for the bunt and knocks it foul. 0-1. We've talked all day about how historic this game is for both the ABL and the Tuatara franchise. Tuatara 0-4 in the season, going down winless to Perth, looking to get their first win here on home soil. Hansen squares around, bunt goes down, and David Sutherland picks it up, makes the play at first, which puts Eton Laird into scoring position. As we talked about earlier, that manufacturing runs and that small baseball, or small ball as we call it. Good to see execution from Luke Hansen. That brings us to the top of the order now for the Auckland Tuatara. Eric Jenkins will be up to plate. Jenkins playing extremely well against Perth. Takes the first pitch as a ball high. Needless to say, I think we'd see a lot of people up on their feet if he manages to put the ball in the outfield. Jenkins hitting 400 so far this season. Tim's missing high again. Now, would not surprise me if we see Matthew Timms pitch around Eric Jenkins for the next couple of pitches with that open base there and one out. And they've decided to intentionally walk him. That new rule that was brought in not so long ago, which is the automatic walk to first without throwing any pitches. Coach would have come out of the dugout and pointed at Jenkins and sent him to first base. It brings up Daniel Lamb Hunt. Big swing on the first pitch by Timms. Struck foul. A lot of speed on the base paths with Jenkins and Laird, although Laird will be the only run that matters. Another big swing, foul. Brings the count 0-2 with one out in the bottom of the ninth. Here at McLeod Park, the temporary home of the permanent team, the Auckland Tuatara. As the Brisbane Bandits battled their way back from a 4-0 and 4-1 deficit. Bring it to 4-4 at the top of the ninth inning. Timms deals, ball in the dirt. Laird takes three And it looks like it's going to be a walk-off error for the Tuatara as they record their first ever win on home soil. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for those that tuned in. I apologize for the lack of view that we've had here in the commentary box. I hope you enjoyed the game. I know I most certainly did. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the first ever professional baseball win for the Auckland Tuatara, and they recorded on their first ever home game here at McLeod Park, the temporary home of the permanent team, the Auckland Tuatara. If you haven't already got yourself tickets for tomorrow's doubleheader or for Sunday's game, jump online, get yourself a ticket. For those I know that have expressed concern with the possible weather tomorrow, if there are no games played, it will be more than likely that you will get a refund on those tickets. I'm Ricky Paiwai. This has been extremely exciting for me to watch history be made, and I hope you guys all tune into Sky Sports pop-up channel tomorrow for the doubleheader if you're in New Zealand. It will be on this YouTube channel if you are international, and we will be live streaming here again on Sunday. That's it, here for the Auckland Tuatara. I would also like to say thank you to all the online viewers that popped in and checked this out and watched this amazing game between the Tuatara and the Bandits, and we hope to see you all again on Sunday.
He might not look like much in an apron, but that's John Miller, holder of the Bledisloe Cup and 2 Investex Super Rugby titles. Mary Adams took Cleveland all the way to the playoffs. Where to next? Well, she won the New Zealand Derby with Ginger Nuts. Finally, meet Richard Sykes, a man with many loves, 80s hip-hop, his dog Buck Twain, and winning, specifically, the Cup final at Wembley. Now it's your turn. TAB, now you're in the game.